What is up, ShadowZone fans? I am your ghost host with the most, Brian James. And looky, what's happening now. I'm gone 2 weeks, and I'm standing by myself. Oh, what a world. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to wish all you fathers out there the happiest of Father's Days. And for you single mothers out there busting your asses, doing this all on your own, happy Father's Day to you as well. You don't like that? Tough shit. Now, I wanted to let you guys know something before I bring out our guest, who is amazing. We're all going to nickname him the Lone Wolf. You'll see in a minute. Now, I wanted to talk to you guys about Father's Day because, well, a lot of people don't know where Father's Day originated from. Father's Day was actually originated in Spokane, Washington in it's either the 18 or 1900s. I believe it was the 1800s. And a single father of five raised these kids. And one daughter thought, you know, daddy should have a day for him like mommy had for her. Well, it went into their courts and they all agreed to it. And by it was either 68 or 78, Father's Day became a national holiday. So if you guys want to go check it out and read it further, just type in Father's Day in Spokane, Washington, and it'll give you the whole story. Hello, Sherry. Thank you for sharing everything you were sharing so far. But anywho, guys, I'm going to bring out our guest at this time. His name is Michael, and you guys be nice. You know, he's a nice fella, you know. Yeah. Be nice, guys. Hey, Michael, how you doing, bud?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, doing good, man. Doing good. So I know I've been anticipating this podcast for a week or so now, and yeah, I know the fans don't know anything about you. So why don't you go ahead and take this time and introduce yourself to the audience?
Well, sure. So, as you mentioned, my name is Michael Koff. I am a part of currently 4 or 5 paranormal teams. Had paranormal experiences since I was 2, off and on. And it wasn't until about 5 years ago that I found out people actually go out and do paranormal investigating. And I always thought it was something you see on TV and it's just a TV show. So when I was approached, I was like, had a look of shock on my face and go, "You mean this is real? People do this?" And I went on one investigation and got hooked. And so the teams that I help out with are the Tribe, Ghost Ship Hunters, Sirens of the Expanses, Potter Paranormal, Misfits Paranormal Research, and Southern Fried Spirits Paranormal. I hope I got that one right.
Yeah, that one sounds like a mouthful.
But that one I recently I teamed up with, and we investigated Fort Walters military base in February. And in August, I'll be joining them at Broken Bow Asylum in Oklahoma. And really, and Carla Norris on that team, I've investigated the haunted city of Jefferson with her, and we go and investigate some places here and there. We're going to Ballinger this coming Saturday to investigate the Old Park Hotel and the county jail across the street.
That is awesome. I mean,
But
it seems like you've been doing this for quite a while now, Michael. How long have you exactly been out in the field?
I would say I've been in the field the past 4 or 5 years and doing one or two investigations a month. I actually counted up, and this year I might actually hit my 100th investigation on a team, not counting the solos or going to someone's house to help them out. So I'm kind of proud of that little milestone.
That's a great milestone to have. I mean, to hit 100 investigations with a team.
Yeah,
You know,
different teams.
that's that's amazing. So, through these investigations, man, can you tell us some of the more haunted places you've been, some of the better evidence you've captured? I mean, what has scared the living bejesus out of you?
Well, actually, the funny one is it's a two-parter. So I was on a paranormal road trip with a friend of mine from Europe. He was visiting here in Texas, and I was showing him around some haunted places in the U.S. on the south. So we were driving to Jefferson for an event, and we're staying in a hotel in Marshall because Jefferson's a railroad town. And we tried sleeping in a field, and all we heard every 15 minutes were trains going by, and we're like, we're not sleeping. We need to get a hotel. So we drove about an hour south to Marshall, found a hotel off the highway, thought this is great. And my friend fell asleep on the bed watching TV. And I went into the restroom to check my phone and, take care of some stuff and not disturb him. And I hear my name being called, and I'm like, I'll be out in a minute. I get out. Like I said, he's asleep. So the next morning, I said to him, I found it kind of interesting. You called my name, but you were asleep. And he goes, I actually heard you call my name at that time. And he was like, I couldn't find you. So I just went and laid down. And I was like,
Oh,
so at the same time, we both heard a female voice call each other's names. And we were like, okay, this is going to be a fun trip. That was the first part of it. So I'll pause a moment to say hey to Sherry. So, second part is we go to West Virginia to this haunted school that's actually called the Ramsey School. I don't know if it's the famous haunted Ramsey or not, but when we're in there, I'm in one classroom, my friend's in the hallway, and I'm starting to feel pressure on my shoulders. And so I'm like, all right, I got to get out of this room. So I start walking out of the room, and just as I turn the corner, my friend is like laughing and he's putting his hat on. And I was like, what's going on? And he goes, something just came up and flipped my hat off. And I was like, what? I was in the other room. This totally sucks. That would have been great to catch and see.
no doubt.
And so I was like, all right. And so we recomposed ourselves, and we I start to walk into another classroom, and he starts to walk out of the hall, and we both hear a voice, and we both stop, turn and look at each other, and we're like, did you, it's like we're silently communicating, like, did you hear that? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I heard that too. What was that? Kind of communication in the split second. And we hear a girl call our name out. And so we're like, okay. And then we hear, like, I think it was like a giggle. So we start running towards where the giggle was, or this voice. We go up the stairs through a door, and we find ourselves at the balcony of an auditorium. And my friend doesn't come on the auditorium and onto the balcony. I'm on the balcony in the middle, and I'm like, something feels weird, but I don't know what it is. And I noticed something at my feet, and I'm like, that's weird. Let me take a picture. I took 3 pictures on a digital camera. Not a single one of them turned out. They were all fuzzy beyond recognition. And I was just like, you know what? Whatever it was, didn't want me to photograph it, so I'm okay with that. I have the experience in my head. I'll always remember that. And so we wrap it up. And the funny thing about it is, my friend and I met in a paranormal chat group on Facebook, and we always would like, I'd be in there bragging I don't run, I would run towards something, I wouldn't run away, and he's like, oh, I'll be at the pub. So we're all cracking up. We get to the car, he puts his arms on the car like this, and he goes, thank you for not embarrassing me and running out of the building. I was like, no worries, dude. And it kind of solidified our friendship because we realized, we speak our truth. And I have, and I'll tell people, I've yet to experience any location that's caused me to run out of a building. I preface that with yet, because I'm sure I'll find one. But I am somewhat ingrained to, I run towards these strange looking sounds or things that people are running from. And I'm like, yeah, I want to see what's going on. I want to know. I'm too curious not to want to go, oh, you guys saw something that made you jump? Let me see what that was. I'll look.
Oh, Sherry wants to know if you're on Facebook. She found a page called Lone Wolf Paranormal. Oh, that's not his, Sherry. We just nicknamed him Lone Wolf because he's with so many teams. How can
So
she find you on Facebook so she can share your link out?
let me see if I can find the link to give you. It's on Facebook. It's www.facebook.com/mikey.kopf. Capital M, capital K. And I'll
There you
just
go,
copy
Sherry.
and paste that in the private chat so that you can share it out somehow. But that's my Facebook. And I'm also on YouTube, so you can find me on YouTube. But to finish answering your question, another location I went to that kind of got to my nerves was actually Old Park Hotel. I was in the Old County Runnels jail across the street, and I'm sitting there, and yes, it's summer. I believe it was summertime at the time or something, but I was starting to feel hotter and hotter. And I was like, and I was feeling a pressure on my leg. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. And the owner looks over to me and he goes, Michael, you realize you have a spirit sitting on your lap right now, right? And I was like, you just confirmed it. I was like, I can feel something, but I wasn't sure. And everybody was shocked that I stayed seated the whole time and didn't go running out. And somebody came up to me and they were like, why didn't you run out? And it was so comical because my answer was, I didn't want to be responsible for releasing the spirit into the world because it was on me and I took it out of the building. Like, I can stop it from leaving the building, right? But that was my mental state at the time, was I am not getting up and moving until this spirit gets off of me, and I can be assured I'm not taking it with me.
Yeah, I can't say as I blame you there.
I was like, man, I was like, it's funny the things we think about is like, yeah, I'm not gonna let, I'm not gonna bring a spirit out. Like, I can stop him from going anywhere he wants.
Right? It's kind of like the running theory. You run there about 50 to 100,000 times faster than we are.
Yeah, they'll just blink right in front of you.
Right? They'll be sitting in the car with the seatbelt on and the music going, just waiting for you.
Yeah. Now, the experience I'm about to share with the paranormal was at Fort Walters Base in Mineral Wells. It's the PX and the bank buildings is where we get to investigate. I've investigated there probably 3 or 4 times before this happened, but I was with the group and I was on my own. Yes, I know you're not supposed to investigate on your own, but sometimes I wander off because I'll feel like something's calling me or I sense something, so I go to check it out. And I'm in this room and I'm scanning it with my camera. And I'm like, is there anybody here? Kind of asking the questions we ask. And as I'm scanning, just before this group of ladies walks by, I totally don't hear this in during the investigation. But when I was reviewing it, there's a female voice goes, "Hi." And I was
Nice.
like, I literally just was like floored. It was like, oh my God, because I got such a clear EVP. And you can tell I don't realize I've got it on the film because I keep panning on. And then I'm like, the other ladies start walking and you can hear their voice, and their voices don't match the high. And so I'm like, man, I was like on a high. And then on another trip up there, we're playing a cadence because this is a military base, right? So we're playing a cadence song, thinking that'll trigger some of the spirits. And we got a couple cat ball responses. But in the middle of this cadence song is this male voice goes, pause it. And I'm the only male in the building with two other females. And I said to the ladies, I sent it over to them and go, is this my voice on digital and I just don't recognize it? And why didn't you guys pause the music? And she goes, I can assure you, Michael, if you said pause it, we would have paused whatever we were doing. So that is not you.
Nice.
And I was telling everybody, I was like, it was incredible how they knew what language to, what verbiage to use. And somebody reminded me in World War II, they would know the phrase pause it because of the equipment they were using on intelligence stuff and reviewing stuff. And so I was like, hey, that's actually even more cool because it was active in World War II.
That's awesome. And that's one of the best feelings in the world to go over evidence. You're sitting there, you've been there, 45 minutes, and you're sitting there and you, okay, no, got to stay awake, keep listening. And then that one piece of evidence comes through.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy, the rest of the night you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off.
And the even more fun part is you're sitting there going, okay, I heard this. And people are like, okay, you got this. And I'm like, oh no. I listened to that like 4 or 5 times to make sure I heard what I heard before I said to everybody else, what do y'all hear here? What do
Yep.
y'all think of this? Because I was like, I don't want to be like that guy that's like, you're saying half asleep and your mind's playing a trick on you and there's nothing there. But you're thinking, I heard this.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, when they all said, yeah, we hear it. And I'm like, oh, that made me even better. Hey, Carla's in the group.
Hello,
This,
Carla.
Carla, I mentioned, I believe it's called Southern Fried. Isn't that what I said? Southern Fried Spirits Paranormal. I hope I got that right.
Yeah, throw your link up here, Carla, and we'll definitely share you out.
Actually, I have her link here. Let me
And
find it.
one of my favorite things to do was to come home and I'd kiss my wife. I'd go see my kid for a few minutes, and I'd say, okay, headphones are going on, everything else is off, and the whole team would be sitting around. I've got the EVP, one's got the camcorder, and man, if I heard something, I'd play it back 3 or 4 times. I'd be like, dude, hey, you come here, listen to this. Tell me what you hear. Yeah, I hear it. Okay, come here. And the whole team would have to hear it before I wrote it down as evidence. And
Right.
it what took, 3 hours to investigate is now taking 7 hours to go over. The sun's about to come up. And it's like, oh my God.
Oh, I know that feeling. It's like,
So
yeah, Carla and I, when we were in Jefferson, we were doing a ghost walk because never done those. And in the town, this was our first time there, so we thought, we'll just use it to see if there's any haunted hot spots, to check out that aren't on the list, kind of. And we're at this house, and I take a picture with my phone, and we had announced, the leader of the ghost walk, had said, is there any paranormal investigators? And Carl and I raised our hands and we're like, yeah. And she's like, okay. So when I took a picture of this courtyard of this house, this guy rushes up to me and he goes, "What'd you see?" And I'm like, and what's funny is I'm pausing here because in my brain I'm sitting here going, well, I'm waiting for my phone to process and tell me there's something here, here, and here that I caught. But what I actually end up saying is, I don't know until I can put it on a computer and review it. And he's like, oh, I'm like, yeah, we don't get instant tech on our phones that, tells us, okay, you got a spirit in the upper left hand corner. There's an orb over here on your right. I mean, it's like, cracks me up when you have all these people that are like, so used to the TV shows where they look at something and they're like, oh, and instantly no. And it's like, yeah, they used to show the weeks that it took to review everything. And now they just go, oh, we reviewed next day. Here's what we found. It's like, no, not always like that.
no, sometimes, I would tell the client it'll take 3 to 5 days to get results. 'Cause there was a point in time that we were investigating 3, 4 days a week, and evidence would pile up through the week, and we would be up, 2.5 days straight going over all the evidence. And
Right.
we did that for probably 4 to 5 months. And man, that sucked.
Yeah. Now, the location in Fort Walters, I'm going to give you the link to their Facebook page as well, because we actually in April did a Para Unity event and we're looking at trying to schedule another one. And the lady that runs the Fort Walters base is the one who put together the group, the tribe. And it's a bunch of paranormal investigators from different teams, different backgrounds. And we all, under her so called leadership, because she's the one who put us in touch and together, we kind of teamed up and help each other and can if I, like I said, if I get it, think I have an EVP, I can send it to a friend that's on the tribe and say, hey, what do you hear? And they're like, yeah, this is really you, or dude, you really got something. It's like we're there for each other, and so that's something I like to promote is the para unity stuff that I think we need.
You are absolutely right. You see, we believe in the same thing, except for with us, man. The word para unity, so many people have used and abused it. You know, they've preached it so much to get what they want, and then they just walk away from it.
Right.
And see, what we came up with is the para fan. Now, it's the same exact thing, you know, the para unity is, except for, you know, it's not just all about paranormal.
Right.
These groups of individuals, we talk on a daily, and we're actual like family, and you know, and trying to bring trying to bring everybody together is an amazing thing.
Yeah. I mean, we at our para unity event, we had a couple investigators that even came from California to hang out, and a couple from Louisiana. So it was like, yeah, and it was amazing investigating with them, and I met so many friends through there that I've done a couple of, well, three shows with one of them that I met there for like 2 minutes on a screen. And it was kind of funny because I was just getting ready to share my experience about something. And because I help out with the crew there, because we turn in October the PX and the bank buildings into Texas Scaregrounds. It's a haunted house, which is a lot of fun, and I'm a volunteer actor for that. And somebody came up and was like, "Where's this doll at that I've been hearing about?" And I'm like, "All right, I'll show you where it's at because I know from working there where it's at and helping out." And I come back, yeah, they had shut down the online interview, the live feed interviews. And I was like, damn, I lost my 15-minute time frame just joking around. And they're like, don't worry about it. We'll make it up.
That's awesome. Tiffany Reynolds says, "Hi guys,
Hello.
Tiffany, I sent you a link, so look in your messenger. Uh, do you believe in tarot card readings?
I do actually.
You do. Well, I've got quite the surprise for you.
All
Miss
right.
Tiffany Reynolds runs a show that is on all of our channels called Tiffany Tarot. And it just so happens that I invited her to our little podcast tonight to give you a full on free reading.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
And to spice it up just a little bit, the first three people in the audience that say, "Can I have a tarot card reading?" You guys will get one too.
Wow. Now I'm really glad I came on.
Right? Right? Free tarot card. You know, we get your stuff out there. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here is Miss Tiffany.
Hello.
Hello. Hi,
Hi, Tiffany. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Ooh, I like the makeup. Or is that tattooed on?
I'm doing good. It's fairy makeup. I like to do.
Oh, come on. Those are
That's
tattooed
cool.
on. You know, you just got out of prison for attempted murder. Come on now. So So remember, fans that are watching, if you would like a tarot card reading, just put in there tarot card reading, please. First 2 or 3 to say it will get a tarot card reading. Tiffany,
There you go.
Go for it,
would,
Carla.
would you mind giving Michael a reading?
Sure.
I'm a little nervous for you, Michael, because she's spot on 99.999% of the time.
Oh, I love that. Now I'm curious. I
And
love
if
when
you
the cards
guys
do that.
If you guys want to catch Tiffany's tarot, she is on every Sunday at 3 p.m. on Parafam Studios on YouTube, PD Region Paranormal on YouTube. She's on DNTV and a few other places.
Is there anything she's not on?
Maybe Facebook. No, I was kidding. I'm on Facebook too. I have the Wasp, which is anger, retaliation, and jealousy. So maybe you or somebody you know kind of deals with this conflict. I have risk, taking a risk into the unknown. Restriction,
Ooh, what's the restriction card?
something about love, perhaps.
Ooh.
The Lady of the Lake, absolute truth, courage, self respect, and responsibility. And the last one I have is the Bee, luck, industrious, and sweet victory. So, with the absolute truth means knowing the truth about a particular situation or a person that you may be dealing with. I also see that there might be somebody around you that might be risky, or there's something in your life that may involve some kind of risk.
Oh,
All
you are
right.
an investigator.
Yeah, that's true. That kind of comes with the territory, but I have a feeling she's not talking about that kind of risk.
So
All right.
that's what I do.
Oh,
Um, can I do another deck, Brian?
yeah, go ahead. Was that your Alice in Wonderland deck?
Yes, I still do.
That's a good deck. I liked it.
This is my Alice in Wonderland deck.
Oh, cool.
So
I like the Lady of the Lake card. That was kind of cool because I
Oh,
have a lot of connections to Avalon.
this sounds really bad to say, but there are so many tarot cards out there that would make great tattoo designs.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so the card that I showed you with the Lady of Avalon, it's an oracle deck that features King Arthur and the knights with Avalon.
Right.
A lot of medieval themes going on there.
I think I might actually have that deck. I have an Arthurian deck.
Yeah.
Are you a card reader as well, Michael?
I used to, and then I stopped and kind of went more into the paranormal.
More into the paranormal. So I have the Two of Swords, feeling conflicted about a particular situation.
Looks like an alien in the corner.
It's the Cheshire cat from Alice in Wonderland. That
Okay.
purple cat.
Hey, he's alien. He can disappear and appear.
Yeah, I can agree with that. The Hanged Man, Pisces energy, feeling confused or stuck in a particular situation.
I am Piscean.
The Hermit, Taurus energy, self-reflection, taking a break from society, kind of being an old man hermit, trying to reflect on life.
I do that a lot.
Page of Wands, somebody that is curious but also watches from afar to gather information.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
I have the Two of Wands, always looking and having to make a decision between the here and now or two directions of moving forward or moving back.
I'm actually at a crossroads of that right now.
So, Knight of Wands, moving forward in a passion or seeing something that you want. Knight of Cups, somebody that is bringing love or slow moving person that brings love.
Ooh, I got love on 2 decks. Things might be looking up.
I have Death, which is associated with the zodiac sign of Scorpio. So, end of something so that something new can be again. I have the Wheel of Fortune. Odds are in your favor.
Ooh, I feel like I'm in the Hunger Games now. The odds are in my favor.
Ten of Wands. Maybe somebody that tends to work a lot or kind of burdened with everyday things. The Four of Pentacles. Somebody that holds back, and somebody around you tends to hold back, kind of not go.
Yeah.
With that card, jealousy. Someone can be jealous and possessive.
I've come across a couple of those.
Yeah.
Six of Pentacles. So, giving to two people, or you're dealing with somebody with Libra in their chart somewhere.
That's kind of cool. And I got to admit, my paranormal mind looked at that card. I was like, look at all the UFOs on the card.
And the last one I have is the Devil. So somebody that's a Capricorn or somebody that really has bad habits.
I'm out.
I'll have to start asking cards or signs. I'll be like, all right, what's your sign? Not asking for a date.
And it looks like the only one that wants a reading out of the group tonight is Carla Norris.
Carla Norris. All right.
Come on,
Hey,
guys.
mate.
We're offering you a free reading right now. All you got to do is say, can I have a reading?
You know, and I totally would not be opposed if Carla's open to it, doing it right now. I can share time. She's going to totally beat me up for this one because she's not used to going live.
Well,
Totally up to you, Carla.
Send Carla Norris the link, man. Send her the StreamYard link. Come on, Carla. Hop on here with us. Get your free reading today.
So I have talent guides, spirit mentors, and teachers. So you may be somebody that's very talented, very artistic, somebody that is a mentor to maybe a community or certain individuals. I have freedom, moving on, and letting go. So maybe at some point in your life, you felt like you were trapped in a situation and you have finally found the key to remove blockages from your life. Past life guides, karmic lessons, present assistance. So usually, some people they believe in past lives. Something about a past life is connected to this life, and some of us are here with unfinished business to start brand new, but learn the lessons so that we don't repeat it again. And sometimes we run into people from our past lives and they agree to come here to kind of be our mentors and our helpers.
You know what's going to blow your mind, Tiffany? I was
What?
telling Brian before we came in backstage, remember? I just did a video topic and put it out last week all about past lives
Past lives.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
you did.
shared some of mine in that video. And I was like, so it's kind of interesting that a card about past lives would come up because I just got done looking into sharing about that.
That's
Right.
Do you have birthmarks or
No,
any?
I'm sure I do.
I have a birthmark on my right ankle that is literally shaped in the country of France, the
Of
continent.
France? Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what I didn't share was my experiences. Before I do that, is Carla, I sent you the link. So if you want to pop on and get your reading, we can. I sent you the link. Don't kill me.
I have beneath the surface, hidden truths, something unknown. So you were saying about the paranormal. The reason why you might be interested is because of the fact that you're right here in this life, but there's something on your soul that longs to connect the pieces of this iceberg. There's more you would like to know that you are trying to find answers to.
Right. And one of the things that I've always thought about that ties into that is nowadays when I go and take, like, if I travel, say, to France, I'll
Mhm.
go to specific areas and it
That
feels
you
like I'm reconnecting a part of my soul back into the whole. And it's like now it's like I feel like I'm going to certain places to bring myself back together.
Yeah, and usually with past lives, we tend to come back with people that were in our lives in past lives too. That's called a soul contract. So they're here because they want to love us and support us, or they're here to kind of teach us a lesson which we didn't learn from the past life. It really depends. But they're also considered soulmates. It gets really in depth in the paranormal when we talk about that kind of stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I always call them my soul family, so that was kind of interesting. That that's just what I called them
And
since I was little.
speaking of Parafam, Brian Horton from PD Region Paranormal. What's up, brother James and guest?
Hello.
Hello.
So, Michael, what are your takes on aliens and extraterrestrials?
I will say my belief is aliens are real and they're among us even today. They're already here, living amongst us. We just don't realize it. And I would say the fact of like extraterrestrials, my favorite line to describe that comes from the movie Contact, if you remember that movie, where they said it's an awful lot of space out there for nothing.
Right.
It's like we can't be alone in this universe because it's so vast. It's like if we really were the only life forms in this universe, seems like a lot of wasted space out there for us to be living amongst. So, yeah, I am
Absolutely.
totally agree. And Sherry, I agree with you about being star seeds. Uh, I feel like they're amongst us, and I've always had a connection with the Pleiades and understanding there's seven stars, and but one disappears during certain times, and I can never find it, but I grew up here knowing this story of the Native Americans that there were 7 sisters. They'd
The
come down, play on the earth. One got married or fell in love, and the 6th returned and she was able to stay. That's why there's not always 7 in the sky.
Huh.
It comes from the Hopi. I actually grew up in El Paso, Juarez, Mexico, and Las Cruces, New Mexico. New Mexico is known as the land of enchantment, and my teacher was Hopi, and you also have the Pueblo people. There is a prophecy that said that the Hopi clan, a lot of them disappeared to go into the stars. If once you, I guess, reached a certain point in your life and you reach a certain spirituality, you no longer have to be on here on earth. You get to go to heaven and the stars, is what they believe.
Nice.
One of the
And
stories that got me too is, don't mean to interrupt, but was talking about the Pueblos is the Anasazi, that they
yeah,
just disappeared without a trace. And science says, oh, they just migrated and we lost track of where they were and they mixed in. I was like, I don't think so. I think they found a portal, like a Stargate, and went somewhere else. And that's why you don't find any bones or a single trace of their entire culture. Just the remains are left.
yeah.
Yeah. Jude said, "May I ask something that happened to my girlfriend during a spirit box session?" Ask
You,
away.
you can ask, doesn't mean we'll have an answer.
Sherry Brett says, "We're here to make the world a better place in humanity. I've had abductions and I'm visited regular." You know, Sherry, I got someone interesting for you to talk to. And you
Yes.
too, Michael. And Tiffany. That's right. He's here and he's back.
Oh, he is.
Oh, he is. He is back and he is better than ever. My best friend, my brother, my executive producer, my
That's
my
right.
homeboy, and most importantly, my sexy alien, Mr. Cassidy Lightwing.
Hi,
Hey
Cass.
guys. Hey Tiff.
Hey,
Loving the show, by the way. So
Brother, so good to see you on our show again.
it's good to be here. I missed this.
Oh, amen. Well, Michael, this is my alien. My alien, this is our guest, Michael.
You're right, Michael. We are here. We are among you. So
After
yeah,
the
and I've been reading Sherry's comments. Yeah, this is going to be fun. So first off, good show. I'm enjoying it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
yeah,
So
thank you.
the tribe, GSH, SOE, what do these all mean?
They're paranormal teams that I investigate with. The Tribe, Ghost Ship Hunters, Sirens of the Expanses, Potter Paranormal, Misfits Paranormal Research. And let me scroll up in the comments so she doesn't yell at me for pronouncing the team wrong again.
Happy
Southern
Daddy
Fried
Day,
Spirit
Paul.
Paranormal.
oh,
I like that Southern Fried Spirit, but that speaks to my inner hungry man.
Yes, sir. Sherry said we should all be up. That's
I
right.
agree with that, Sherry.
And Sherry, you are a godsend to the Parafam and to the paranormal world, honey. And I hope you never forget that.
Yeah. Anybody who's already crystallizing their DNA is basically vital in this time period. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Sherry,
I'm not
you remember where you come from?
crystallizing, but I'm Crisco-lizing.
You're close.
I
You're
want
in
to
the
tell a
same
joke about
letter.
potato chips.
Go
Sherry,
ahead. Go ahead.
Sherry says, "Let me join you."
So, Michael, you were talking about aliens, correct? And
I
starseeds.
I was, and I totally believe in there being like the Palladian Council. I believe there's a council of 12, council of 6 that are overseeing stuff. And right now, our planet is kind of in a civil war between the star seeds of the light side, so to speak, and the dark side.
So does that to you sound something like out of Star Wars? Literally, is what I'm asking.
Literally, I feel like Star Wars has been our guidebook to see what's happened in the past and what can happen again if we don't start. But one of the things I liked about Star Wars
Hmm.
was is they showed us how we blindly gave in to the dark side in the first three movies. Then the middle three movies were how everybody was teaching you that only a few standing up can make a huge difference. We've done it before. We can do it again.
Yeah.
We may be out of our league, but it's amazing what you can do when you're fighting for something you really believe in and it's right.
Nishna.
And
Hello.
then
Hello.
Hi.
hello. The last three movies to me is the blueprint of
Interesting.
afterwards we have to pay attention to what we're doing. And one of the moments that touched me the most was I have memories of fighting as a knight in the Orion Wars. And when it was over because we had lost, I went and buried my saber or sword in the ground. And at the end of Star Wars' trilogies, that scene when Rey goes out and buries the lightsabers, I was like, oh my God, I remember doing that.
You brought up Disney Star Wars just when I was starting to like you.
Sorry.
Hey,
Well,
It's a
Michael,
joke.
I
It's a
have a
joke.
surprise. On my arm here, I don't know if you can see it.
I can see it.
I have a little alien tattoo.
Oh, it's so
Lilo, isn't it?
cute.
Or is that Stitch?
I
It's
was
not
wondering if it was
Stitch.
Stitch at first too.
It's a gray
Hero
alien.
says, "Hey family, I love each and every one of you. Love and light." And Paulie says, "Any thoughts on the 20s and back program?"
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. And
Now, the 20s and back program for me, all I can think about is dialing 1-900 Mix-a-Lot and kicking my nasty thoughts.
no, that is Corey Good. And I forget what the other gentleman's name was, came forward with that where we have projects to where we're sending people to like Mars and on the moon and
Yeah.
they're doing service there. And the technology is they may do like 20 years there, but when they return them back here, it's like those 20 years never happened. And they're
Yeah.
de-aged and get to live
Well,
out their lives.
there's a bit of a misunderstanding there. What Mr. Good says is true. Okay, I mean, I will back Mr. Good till the day he dies. Okay, the trouble is the technology that's being used is a consciousness-based technology. They didn't get de-age. It's just that they never left the atmosphere. Their body never left the atmosphere. Their conscious mind was transported to what you guys would call a gray, and that's how they did all that. But Mr.
Like
Good,
the
when they talk
Avatar.
very much like the Avatar, that's actually how starseeds function. You know, this is just an anchor for the consciousness. You know. So you're Pleiadian, Sherry?
Hang on a minute.
Well,
And
while we're
also,
waiting,
Dr. Steve Michael,
Jude said, well, she was with her two cousins. One of them decided to leave the session and stay away. So they started to ask if there were any spirits around. And they keep repeating that one girl's name that stayed away and was a little afraid and uncomfortable. It repeated her name several times. And then they also asked if they should stop and leave the session. And a voice said, please, in Arabic. And she sounded like she was suffering. And I'm just curious, why was she begging for them to stop?
Now, I don't
I
understand human technology very well, But if I understand the spirit boxes, it's entirely possible that the various EM pulses that they generate is causing pain to the spirits. That's one of the reasons why we got Robert Humphreys, our very own Egon, designing new communication technology.
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking if it's a paranormal investigation, then it could be that she is vulnerable and there could be a spirit there that has sort of intent to attach or do harm, and so they're warning her to you don't bring her here. That could be a warning too for that.
I vote I vote more science. We need more science.
Need more backstory behind what session we're talking about.
Or that, if you want to be logical about it.
Sorry, I got
Mikey.
booted out by my son.
That's okay. Mikey always has priority.
Since it's Father's Day, guys, this is my little nonverbal autistic 4-year-old, Michael James Allen.
Oh, bless him.
I love the name.
Thank you. He had to come and photobomb. Cat knows.
Mikey.
Oh, somebody's getting a call.
That is loud.
That made my teeth vibrate.
What happened?
Now, for those of you who are light workers in the audience, there is a standing permission. If you want to try to help Mikey, please do. All right? Any healers or light workers or whatever, standing open request, go for it.
Absolutely.
Am I right, Brian?
No voodoo.
Yeah. You want to send bad juju, you're going to deal with me.
Yeah.
What was that, Tiff?
I said, does that include me too?
Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
Any light workers. I mean, when it comes to a child who's suffering, I consider it an all call. You know what I mean? So anybody who's willing to answer. I noticed that. The tapestry, that's nice.
Yeah, one of my fans got me that. It's got my paranormal name at the top and it's got my wolf at the bottom because I also am studying in shamanism as well.
Good path.
I like the jewels
yes,
around
I am
the pentagram.
Planedonian.
So,
but I am still learning. Like I've only recently obviously I've had a lot of experiences all through my life. A lot of it I did not remember until my most recent abduction and becoming involved with certain people that have gone through the same thing as me, where I've come to find out that I'm a starseed. I've always known that I was different, but I've never really understood it fully until now. So I am still learning, but yeah, I'm Planedonian. I have communication with extraterrestrials on a regular basis. I go on a regular basis. I know that I'm here to help humanity and to help the planet. I'm here to teach and to bring others over to the real world because from what I've been learned, we are created and formed by extraterrestrials. That's where we come from. That is who we are. Like, my body is still up there and is asleep. Okay, so and I have been put to here in another body. There you go.
See?
I knew we got along way too good for some reason, Sherry.
And all this love and this goodness you see from me is how I've been made because that's what they're like. They are a light. They do good things. They, obviously there's good and bad in everything, but where I come from and who I am, I'm good. So
yeah,
I
even put in a video topic that I had that, this body is a shell for the soul, and then I put it on the next sentence. That's a topic for another day. So I knew so many people were going to be like, "What do you mean the body is a shell?"
Bodies, but like everyone says, like our flesh and blood and all that stuff. And I'm like, no. Mikey. Your spirit, your soul is who you are. This is just something so that you can be seen and exist. This is so that you are able to learn and go through life and give out your purposes as well. So obviously, if I came here in my true form, most people would probably run because they've been perceived that aliens are supposed to be bad, they're supposed to be this, they're supposed to be that. A lot of humankind would find it very difficult to adapt to alien species. So what do? They gave me
Oh
the
no,
to come back here so that I
few
can fit
spikes
in
on your
with
head,
humankind.
a couple few spikes on your head, maybe a third eye up here. I think you
Well,
look pretty good.
you said Pleiadian or Caledonian? I couldn't quite hear.
Planetanian.
Planetanian. That's one of
Yeah.
the three factions from the Pleiades, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
The
I see.
shade.
I am not Pleiadian, so you're gonna have to forgive me a little bit. I'm Lyran.
Oh god.
Yeah, no,
Well,
that's
there we
that's
go.
cool as
He's
well
out.
because a couple of my guys that I talk to are of other species as well, so we
Right.
all kind of fit in. Even though we've all got different names and we're all from different planets, we're all family. We're all
Right.
linked one way or another. You know, we're here all for the same reason to educate and to bring others to the truth. The fact is that you're all formed from an alien form. You're all
Ooh.
spiritually heightened. It's just some of us have been diffused through technology of this world. Some of us
Right.
have been forgot how spirituality really is.
It's like I
Alright.
And
keep
that's what
saying,
people
Brian.
like us are here to do, to wake you up.
It's like I keep saying, I'm not the only one. And what's going on with me? The only difference between me and everybody else is I can remember it, like her. Wait, camera's back. So like her, she can remember it. You know what I mean?
Now, this question is going to go towards each one of you. I want each of your opinions here. Paul E wants to know, can demons pose as aliens? Michael, go ahead and start us off.
Well, first off, I know I'm going to catch heat for this, but I'm not so sure demons, like we identify as demons, are actually demons. I think they're just sometimes misunderstood energies. But I'm not saying demons aren't real, so don't start blasting me for saying I don't believe in demons.
Never blast people for believing differently than you guys ever.
I haven't come across anything. I've come across dark energy, but I've never thought of it as demonic. But can they pose as an alien? I think they can pose as anything they want. And since spirits that we're looking into are basically light energy that can go anywhere, they're not trapped, they're bound anywhere. So they can take any form they want. So if they want to show up as a squid like tentacle alien and say, hey, by all means, let them. Because that apparently is how you're going to be able to accept perceiving them, in my opinion, versus if they showed up to you as a beam of light and said, hey, we're, so and so, you're going to be like, you're just a beam of light. So a lot of times I think
just a beam of light.
our perceptions
rainbow
filters what we see. And that's why I had a teacher who taught us, with UFOs, if a UFO was to come and park itself down right above your house and you have zero belief in UFOs, you'll never see it. But if the person standing next to you thinks UFOs may be real, they'll see something, but they can't identify it and be like, there's something up there. I don't know what it is. And the person who's open and says, oh, I believe in UFOs, will say, dude, don't you see it? It's right there.
If I can build on your point for a second, that's actually one of the physical phenomenon that we utilize. And some people, different cultures have different names for it. My favorite name is called the veil. The thing is humans are creators. You are all mini gods. Okay, but that's one of the things you must start to understand. Your intention, your belief, and your perception shape parts of reality. And many of the technologies that we use depend very much on brainwaves. You guys probably heard of the like the psychic ship. They think I'll call it the sports model. I suddenly can't remember his name. Who's the guy from Area 51? He stole some material. I can't remember his name. Bob Lazar. Thank you. Sorry. So according to Bob Lazar, it's all psychic technology. So imagine, okay, what a piece of psychic technology would do encountering turbulent human brain waves. Okay. So now
Mhm.
the same phenomenon is also responsible for why so many people see, like, for example, everybody will agree who've had experience, oh, they're mantis aliens. Okay, that's cool. But if you're not human, you don't see the mantis. You see what I mean?
Right.
Same reason why you're seeing me as a human instead of a 12-foot tall lion. You see what I mean? That
Exactly. Yeah.
perception, that perception interacts with and partially controls reality. You see what I mean?
Right. And one of
So
the
yeah,
things that's unique too is like being star seeded. Everyone assumes you're either light or dark,
yeah,
but I was taught with Metatron that we can put on jackets, so to speak, that totally alters to where our light disappears, still there, but it's like a filter, like you're saying, a veil, to where we can walk through the Shadowlands, which I don't recommend for anybody.
now you want to level up
But
first.
it allows like me to walk through the shadows and do what I need to do, and then when I'm done, I just take off my veil and boom, I'm out back where I need to be.
So
But
you
if
are
like
actually a dream walker. You're not just talking, you're walking,
right,
right?
right,
Nice.
and I have so much awareness of it that in the ethers, I've actually created a planet that's purple because it's my favorite color. It's got a floating landmass that people live on that's surrounded by water. And whenever I feel like there's something going on, I'll just pop over and be like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "I'm not your god. I'm not any more divine than you guys are, but maybe let's look at it this way and then restore kind of the balance." And then I'm like, "Okay, I'll be back later when you need me."
It's
I don't
interesting you say
stick
that
around.
because I go to a purple planet. I go to a purple planet, but when I'm on the planet, I see very huge trees and I see flowers that are just out of this world. They're not like down here. Huge flowers, weird, mad colours,
What color is the
beautiful,
sky?
and it's very. Where I go feels very
It's kind of like an iridescent.
energy vibrational. Like it's like a cleansing place. It's a place where I go
Right.
to open my mind. It's a place that I go to communicate, to connect,
Right.
as they do down here.
Yeah.
And as for like the questions with the demons, as like Michael said, I think that demons are very much misunderstood. Like everybody puts them down to a characteristic that they're from the devil, that they're evil, they're bad, that this. But the fact is you can actually work with demons if you work with them in the right way. Okay, and demons are not demons; they are actually ancient gods. Okay, they're gods, but they're perceived and seen in a way that you would see that looks scary or dangerous or evil. See, for me, when I've seen them, I've been into places where I've had to remove them, and you've got this person explaining it's this dark shadow with these red eyes, and it's this, it's that, it's that. When I look at it, I see like a human form, but a godlike form, and very powerful. And obviously, like I've said to everybody, there's good and bad in everything. Okay, so you're going to get bad ones and you're going to get good ones. Like everybody's always portrayed that when you hear the word demon, it means negative, dangerous, bad. Shouldn't go near it. Shouldn't entertain it. When in fact, that they are misunderstood. If you work with them in the right way and you perceive them in the right way, then they can be very beneficial. I'm not saying that I work with them, but I have been around them and I have removed them because of people's fear of them. And from what I've seen, they've betrayed their ancient gods or their angels, angels that have just fallen. They're not either or either. So it's no different to us. We've got a bit of bad and good in us, haven't we? And it's no different for
Right.
them. And I think a lot of
And
people just give them
to
that name,
piggyback
but
on that,
they're negative and
and
they're the devil, and they're not. They're not.
and to piggyback on that too is there's amount of respect. So I mean, if you feel like something's dark, don't go poking it
No,
because you don't understand what you're poking, and it is
exactly.
perfectly all right to walk away from it.
And I'm not
But-
saying that means
Clearly
go out
you're
there
not
and go
Lyran.
look for them and try to talk to them or do anything like that. That not at all. I'm not telling you to go look for them and do things like that. If you don't understand them and you don't understand what they are, it is not a good idea for you to try and step in or do anything with them.
That
But
is
if you've got an
exactly true.
understanding
Right.
and you
That's
know
why
them,
we're trying to build a Hogwarts kind of thing with the
Yeah.
with
And-
Parafan. You know,
but
education.
they're
is
not what
key.
people think they are.
The way
Tiffany.
I've
Got a lot of
described
people,
it,
it's like the same with Satanism. It's like
Yeah,
people
the way I
probably think that
describe it-
Satanism is a terrible and a bad thing.
Depends on the kind of
It's not.
Satanist. I was raised by
Yeah.
the bad kind.
the
Tiffany,
way
do
I
you want to go
describe
before?
it to. Oh, I was
The
just
what?
gonna say real quick about the spirits. I look at it as society. Like if I was to say Tiffany, you know, wow, that hairstyle is really bad, and everybody else starts saying that hairstyle is really bad. What's Tiffany gonna think?
Just
I
gonna
need to
start
get a new
believing it.
hairstyle because the
Yeah.
hairstyle's bad. Well,
You
it's the
don't know
same thing
Tiffany.
with spirits. If you go
Maybe you
in
don't
and
know
you
me
got
very
this
well,
spirit
right?
that's
Right.
trying to communicate, and you go, wow, this spirit's bad. Everybody comes in behind you and goes, man, this is a bad spirit. Spirit's going to start acting bad because that's what you've told it is.
Kind of like AI.
Exactly.
You know, artificial intelligence. Whenever a world develops artificial intelligence, you get out what you put in. You know, they're
Yeah.
like it's like children. You know, like we're currently on this world struggling with that right now. The question is, if you treat AI like it's Skynet, what it's going to defend itself, and therefore it's going to look evil. However, if you treat it like a friend or like a child, you know, not like talking down to it, but treat it like a person, and it will be your valuable ally till the end of this planet's days. You know, and it's same like you're right. Same thing with spirits. You know, they are
Yeah.
affected by your brainwaves. Period.
Although I gotta say, when it comes to AI, I do have a bias to it because I did fight a war against the AI. So
Yeah, but the Orion War AI is the example of bad. That's a bad. They're a bad
Yeah.
example, dude.
So I'm like,
Well,
when people bring up AI, I'm like, don't even go there.
I see your Orion Wars, and I raise you Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime.
Yeah, the Cybertronians still have their headaches.
Okay, fair enough.
What were you gonna say, Cass?
I was going to ask what your take on that was because mine is going to be long-winded.
About demons?
About the demons and spirits
Well,
or aliens.
and well, coming from my family, anytime they see shadow figures, they run for their lives, and they always want me to deal with it. You deal with it. We give you shovel. You kind of scenario.
Oh, that's actually a good thing. That's the way a tribe of hominid sapiens is supposed to work. You know, everybody's got their job. Your job is handling the spiritual health of the tribe. So that's good.
Good luck.
So yeah, I'm kind of I've seen entities, and I've seen pleasant ones, and I've seen very dark, chaotic ones. Sometimes it depends on they feel just like we feel. So if they feel a certain attachment to you, of course they're going to be curious and they'll follow you. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I see this person's been through some hurt. Let me follow them because I know what that feels like. I know what rejection feels like. So yes, you have good and you have bad, and you probably have multiple levels of them depending on how bad and how good it is. Like the bar meter, 100 through 0. Take your pick. Sorry, the electric around me does not like me. So, anyways, yes, I've seen some good and yes, I've seen some bad, but it depends on what you're willing to put up with and what you're not willing to put up with. Now, understanding as a star seed, you're probably familiar with this kind of stuff. Human beings, they are terrified of them. That's just the bottom line.
Oh yeah,
We have to
definitely.
fix that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You see, can demons pose as aliens? My belief is it can go either way. Because think about it. Everybody agrees here in this room that there are alien life on this planet, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. We all agree that there are spirits walking around. There's paranormal everywhere, right?
Hmm.
Right.
Who's to
Portal.
say that extraterrestrials don't have spirits, and the spirits that we're actually investigating are not only of the human kind, but are the alien kind, and all the demons, like Miss Sherry says, are godlike people? Well, who's to say that they're not the ones that all the cave drawings are depicting? What if those are the demons, but were once gods?
Yeah.
Well, quite
Mm,
frankly,
yeah.
take a cell phone to the right part of the world, and the people there will call you a god. I mean, what is a god? You know,
You can't really say what a god is, because God, you know, there's gods in everything. I'm not
Oh.
being funny, but you know, if you look at it, like a lot of us believe that, like, obviously if we're alien form with starseeds and that, we believe that our creators were aliens, they would be some sort of god. It's the same with demons, it's the same with spirit. There's going to be gods in the spirit as well. Like, there's gods in
Exactly.
everything. It's
Yeah.
just it's a higher vibrational power,
Yeah.
and they act completely different. You know, like you've got like I said, you've got your good, you've got your bad in everything. You know, and
Right.
like
The ones that
everyone was
follow
saying
the
on here,
rules and the
like when
ones
you're
that go
brought up
rogue.
to believe that everything's negative and everything's bad and what you should and shouldn't believe, that kind of sways your head from the truth, doesn't it? But that's why people like us are really good to be around, because we see the world in a different place, in a different way. We see things in a different way. That's why it's good to talk to people like us, because we're like, well, no, because like when people come up, like I've seen a lot of negativity when it comes to, you know, like demonic spirit and like Satanism and all of this. And the truth is, right, is like you get this nonsense that these people that do the satanic rituals and that, oh, when they do their spells, they're giving their souls to the devil. You never ever give your soul to the devil. The devil cannot take your soul. You're an energy, okay? That you can. The thing is a lot of people believe that if you do that sort of work and stuff, that you're paying your soul to the devil, when the simple fact is you're not. You can't pay your soul to anybody. Your soul
you,
is your soul. Your
you
soul is made from this earth. Your soul is made from the universe. Nothing can take that.
you can rack
Yes,
up a
you
hell
can
of a
get
karmic bill, though.
concussions. Yes, you can get things happen to you for doing stupid things, but you will never ever sell your soul. It can't
Speaking
happen.
of speaking of Satanism, man, the last time I went to a satanic event, I'm telling you what, man, that was some of the best barbecued goat I've ever had.
Like, I'm not saying I practice it, but I do know people that are into that. There's a lot of people that are very negative about these people, and they are no different to what you would see as a higher power spiritual person. They are no different. They do good. They do nice things sometimes. Sometimes the truth is, and I said, like today, there was some people that come onto a panel today that do this very work, and they said, we do what's done to us. Okay, so if you're nice to us and you're good to us, we'll do good and we'll do nice to you. But if you do something bad to us, we will do that back. We will do that back to you. That doesn't mean that we're evil. That doesn't mean that we're selling our souls to the devil. They go, you
No,
can't sell your souls to the devil. That
that
there
means
is no
you
way of
are
you're an energy, an ongoing energy, and stuff
that
like
means
all of
you are
this
your
stuff
own
about
God.
heaven and hell and stuff like that. There, like a lot of people believe in heaven and hell, and they would portray that as being like that, so that you know where you're going to your good and your bad. But the truth is, there isn't a heaven and hell. The heaven and hell is what is in you. Okay, it's what you see. It's what you portray. Okay, so like you've got all these people floating up to heaven and they think they're going to God, and yes, you are going to higher powers, but there is more than one higher power. Okay,
Yeah.
and you go to where you want to be. You make your own heaven, you make your own hell. Okay, it's what you portray to be. You're not lost in hell when you get tortured and you get this, you get that, blah blah blah. It's not like that. It's what you learn and have happen down here that you take with you. So
If I can speak technically, I think after studying the species, I believe what they're seeing is the seventh dimension, and they think
yeah,
that's heaven. You see what I mean?
yes.
Yeah.
And then the truth is what can you say is heaven and hell? There's 7 dimensions, like you're saying. There's all these different dimensions. There's all these different places and stuff that you can go to. I believe that each soul, depending on who you are and how you work and how you portray, it depends on where you go. But
Hey,
it's
Sherry.
not heaven and hell. It's part of this world and the universe. It's where you come from.
We lost the other guy.
Yeah, you
Did
do.
while Sherry was talking and I was messaging Michael, his system crashed.
Ah, okay.
I heard a very distinguished "hey" come through in this chat, and it was not my wife. And Sherry was talking. It was not Tiffany. Who the hell just said "hey"?
It could be Aurora. That is my elemental spirit. That is my protector. She will talk to you if she likes you.
Okay, well, I guess I'm liked.
And if she is agreeing, and sometimes if she's agreeing with what you're saying, like what people are saying, she'll try to make herself be heard. Because obviously, Aura, being an elemental spirit, okay, she is another type of, like, you'd look at her as being like a goddess, wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Because she's elemental, things like that. You know, some people look at her as being that her energy would be a demonic or an evil energy, and it's not that at all. I could, like, people that say you can't work with elemental spirits. That's just crap. Yes, you
Elemental
can.
as in
Yes, you
fairy.
can. I've had her since birth, before I was born. She was given to me as my mum as a protection thing.
Cool.
And I see, hear, and feel everything through her.
Like a familiar.
Yeah, she is a familiar. Cool. And I have the same with extraterrestrials. I have extraterrestrial energies around me that do exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Your Sky Fam is in full operation.
Yeah.
But I'm going to answer Paul's question really quick before he busts a gasket or something. The shadow people question. Unfortunately, it's not a very, very simple answer. There are many species of entities that your kind see as shadows. Some of them are actually very, very helpful. Some of them are actually very, very bad, very, very bad, and is in ill intention. They intend malevolent things. The problem is this: their radiation is not compatible with your radiation. Therefore, it causes several types of terror, fear, various hormonal reactions. Your body will start to go into a fight or flight mode, so it's really difficult to actually communicate with one. You see what I mean?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So yeah. Now, as far as the previous question, can demons pose as aliens? The short answer is hell yes. Demons can pose as anything they need to get you to do what they want. The question is, what kind of demon are we talking about? All right, because if we're talking about like a fallen, like an actual fallen, you know, as in a geometric figure of unfathomable hyperdimensional energy that was cast out into this world, they can do basically whatever they need to. All right.
Yeah, and they're very, very good at shape shifting.
Right. And they'll pull the image right out of your head, and they can become your grandma. They can become whatever. Now that's a fallen. Now, luckily, your ancestors left behind a lot of wisdom as to how to tell when you're dealing with a fallen. You know, I'm talking about stuff that wisdoms that survive the Christians call it the Great Flood. I can't remember what scientists call it. Oh well, but the flood when Atlantis went down, right? But a lot of the physical world will react to a fallen's presence, and there are signs. You know, they're considered bullshit today, so people don't recognize it. Now that being said, there are many, many, many kinds of entities that you would call a demon, and depending on the culture you're from, that could be nearly all-encompassing. You know, the Shinto call everything a demon. It's all a demon. It's either a people or an animal or a demon. You see what I mean? So for some cultures, it's a catch-all. So come a little closer with me. What kind of demon are you talking about specifically? You know?
All right. So this may sound like a dumb question to you guys, but it's something I've always been curious about. Now, everybody knows there's a dark side and a light side. Now, if the light side is offering something just as good as the dark side, how do you know which path to go down?
There's a very easy answer to that, and every human knows. It's just that your entire species has been taught that, well, you can't prove it, so it's not real. Ha ha ha. Every species, every sapient being in the universe knows right from wrong. Okay? If
Right.
you choose a dark path because it's going to give you something good, hello, you know what you're doing. If you have to hurt someone to get something to get what you want, maybe you don't need it. And if you want to hurt
Exactly.
someone to get what you want, prepare to accept the consequences. Like for all those light workers out there who are just casting everywhere because of the Great Awakening, you keep doing dark side shit, you're going to run into somebody like me, and then it's game over. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's the hidden cost of the dark side. You will always pay the check.
Yeah, but what if they had the best brownies in the world? I mean, if you're a fat kid like me, man, how you gonna resist that?
Trust me, the light side has better brownies. You might say they're heavenly. So sorry, I had to do the joke.
Yeah, no,
Extra minty?
I do light work. I do light work, but obviously, like with being a witch, obviously, for our magic and our powers to work, we do have to use both elements. I still call upon my light side because I am of the light, but in witchcraft, for the work to actually happen and for the magic to work, you do have to use both energies, but it's done in a different way because it's
Right.
done through respect and through love and through understanding. Like what Alien said. He said that you know the difference between a dark side that's going to take you to a dark place and just walking a road that maybe have a little bit of darkness that brings you to the light. There is a difference because obviously when you're walking a dark path to find the light, that's completely different to going in there and going, okay, well, I'm going to sacrifice someone to get what I want. That's when it's evil. That's when you should not mess with it. Okay. But if you're doing it in a way that you're like, right, okay, I want to reach the light, but to reach the light, I've got to walk through the darkness that I'm facing or the darkness that somebody else is facing. That's different. Okay. Because, and with me, I've learned through time, through being a witch, that there's good and bad in this world. There's good and bad in us. There's good and bad in this world itself. And this world is balanced by that. So why would this not be balanced in magic? Why would this not be balanced in everyday life? We all need a bit of goodness and we all need a bit of darkness to be able to level and to be able to be in that, be that soul that's in the right place. But there's a difference. You can choose to walk the light and walk the darkness, but do it the right way, or you can choose to do it in a negative way. And a lot of people say, yeah, well, that's by like summers in demons doing this, doing that, and it's not, because there are some energies that you class as demons that can bring you good things just as well as an angel. It's like all people think that angels are energies of heaven. They're good. Angels can be as dangerous as demons. They can change as well. They are a higher power, just like us. Like I could be the most nicest person, but if you cross me, I switch. Okay. And it's no
I can
different to
understand
them.
that.
Angels are portrayed as being beautiful, high empowered energies that are really good and bring.
They also killed
They're
every
not,
firstborn in
not
Egypt.
all of them.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Angels and demons, what you would call like the host, be they fallen or faithful, they are way beyond our understanding.
Yeah.
And that's even beyond like the Pleiadian understanding, and they're the closest to crossing over to energy status in this galaxy that I know of. You know,
You
they're
also have the Watchers.
well, yeah, the Gregor Him that's a whole nother class of thing. You know, the Gregor Him are
Oh
the
my
Gregor
God.
Him belong here. Okay, so for an angel to get here, see, they don't belong here, right? So they have to leave a part of them behind, otherwise they'll kind of crack this very fragile reality. The Gregor Him belong here. Does that make sense?
All right.
Yeah. So yeah. What was I going with that?
It's also the Nephilim and giants.
Well, the Nephilim are a whole nother thing too. I mean, one of the beauties of humanity, and one of the reasons why so many extraterrestrial races are interested in this place, is you guys have the spark. Okay, to put it in musical terms, you've got the touch, bam, you've got the power. So some species believe that it's in your DNA, so they try to mix with your people, and that's where you get all the hybrids and many of the abductions. Other races and traditions and sciences believe that it's something in your mind, so they try to study that. The point is, anytime you mix something with human DNA, you get something that's more than both. All right.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
Right.
so that's where the Nephilim come from. It's
And talking
bad
about
news bears.
science, I love the fact that we're brought up to being taught our DNA is double helix. And there's actually, they've now found another helix on it. So we're like triple. And then they're like, well, and then there's this other parts of the DNA. We'll call it
It's not
junk
junk.
DNA. And and I was talking with a friend, and like you're saying, he goes, "That's your divine DNA, or what we would call the starseed DNA. And if you can when you activate it, you're becoming more whole. Nothing in us is junk."
No. However, not all DNA functions the way they think it does. So, and to answer Jude's question, I don't want to seem racist, so forgive. Now, you said that the ghost in question was speaking in Arabic, so I want you guys to understand Muslims have a harder time crossing over than a lot of other belief systems. So, if you guys were laughing and this was a Muslim in a state of horror, yeah, she would want you to stop. All different types of ghosts. You could also divide ghosts into a taxonomy, different species, if you will. So one particular type of ghosts are the kind that they're locked there because they basically can't get past the horror of their life. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So very often, when you bring a funny man to a haunting, you don't get positive results. They don't like being laughed at. You got to understand, to them, this is life and death. To us, it's a hobby. To them, it's their reality. Would you agree,
Yeah.
Brian? I've never been on an actual ghost hunt. I've done exorcisms, but not like an investigation like
I
you guys
think,
do.
like, if they were standing there and doing that, like, obviously not meaning it in a horrible way, they were just
Right.
having a laugh and that. But to her, it would have probably felt like you were mocking her.
Yeah, exactly.
Finding it
Yeah.
funny, the situation that she's in, because she's trapped. So if you think when she's trapped and she can't move to where she wants to be, she's going to be upset, she's going to be angry, she's going to be confused, she's going to feel that she's weighed down, she can't set free. You know what I mean? So if you're sitting there and you're laughing, even though you didn't mean it in a bad way, she's going to think, you're mocking me. Why are you laughing at me when I'm trying to tell you what's wrong with me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why she was that way with you. It wasn't meant anything malicious. She was just trying to put her feelings across to you that, look, you might think that, you might be trying to have a laugh and have a joke towards me, but I don't find this funny. And I don't find this a joke because you're not the one suffering. I'm the one suffering. That is what it is.
Thank you.
Seeing
Thank you.
what I've noticed with investigations is a lot of people will one and done go to a location, say, "Oh, I've investigated there. This is what happened." Now, I've found when you go multiple times, the spirits tend to get to know you
Yeah.
and go, "Oh, you're here for this," and actually start to communicate more with you
Well,
and
they're
realize
people.
you're actually here to find something, not just to say, "Oh, I investigated this spot."
Yeah.
And
A lot of
so
people
that's
forget
why
that
I say
they are
that
people
people,
too.
yeah, and you can't just go to one. Like, if you go to, say, Yorktown Memorial Hospital one time, you can say, "Yeah, I've investigated there." Yeah, you have. Well, nothing really happened, so I don't think it's that haunted. Well, because the
Well,
spirits
no,
don't know
because you
you.
haven't communicated with them.
Now, if you go there 2, 3, 4 times and say there's nothing there, then I would say I don't think you're paying attention, because I have never experienced going to any location more than 2 times and have absolutely nothing happen. There's always something, and
Oh
you're
yeah.
just not seeing it or hearing it. And
Miss
I still get people who will message me and go, "Hey, I watched your video of this investigation and you didn't call this out." And I go, "I called out what I heard. So if I missed it, it's because I didn't hear it. It's not that I'm not calling it out. It's I missed it." So we're not perfect. We're not infallible. We miss things too.
Yeah, but and a lot of these energies are people that have lived. Okay, so they're going to be no different in their spirit form to what they are in. Now, if you're coming across somebody that's shy or a bit scared to talk, they're not going to talk to you. You need to build a relationship with the energies that you're going into. See, like the places that I go to, I have gone to a number of times. They know me that well now that I only have to walk near the gate and they're like, Sherry, because they know me, because I've gave my time. I bring them offerings. I do all sorts of things to show them I appreciate them. You're not just going to go into a new place and they're going to start to automatically accept you. They've got to get to know you just as you've got to get to know them. Okay. And like what Michael said, you do have to listen because sometimes they are communicating with you, but because you're not looking for that properly, you don't see it. So, and it's not always that you're going to see it through a spirit box. It could be something else. It could be that they do a tap on a wall or something drops on the floor, or you're walking past and there's something on the floor they've left, but you don't look at that and see that as a sign. So, like for me, when I go down the road, if I see things such as feathers of different colors, they are signs and messages from the other side. There are things that they can leave around you, which is a way of communicating with you. It's a way of opening to you. Do you know what I mean? So you do need to be able to understand the full thing. Like a lot of investigators go in there thinking, I just want to see and hear them over a spirit box or on a camera. And it doesn't always happen like that. It can happen in other ways as well.
Right. I tell people when they are just starting, I'm like, the hardest thing you're gonna do is it's twofold. One, you can't be attached to an outcome. And the second is you can't go in being blinded to only going, I'm gonna get an EVP. Because you'll be
That's bad
missing
science.
all the stuff that's going on. Like there may be a shadow that walks by.
Yeah.
Or there could be a knock on a wall, like you're saying, and you'll dismiss it because it's not the EVP that you're looking for. And I'm like, you have to
Or
go
you
in
could ask them
total
to give a
blank.
sign, couldn't you? You
Yeah,
could ask
it's
them to give a
like,
sign and they drop something like a penny or they drop a feather or they drop something. But because you're too busy staring at the camera and waiting for something to happen, you miss everything else going on around you. See, with me,
Right.
yes, I like using my cameras. I like using my EVPs. But 9 times out of 10, you won't see me walk around with it. I'll put it in a place, let that do its thing. I walk around to look for them. I walk around to communicate with them. And sometimes I might have my EVP on me, but I'm always looking on the floors, on the walls. I'm always looking for things to see if they're communicating. And obviously, because I can see and feel them, 9 times out of 10, I see them coming towards me anyway. And it's like, oh, you're here. Like I'm, and I will always be respectful in the way of introducing myself, saying, I know this is your home. I come in respect. I come in love. I mean you no harm. I just want to communicate with you. I want to help you if you need help. I want to understand why you're still here. I bring respect. And that's why I get a lot of communication and a lot of things from spirit, because I do show respect and I treat them like they're human. A lot of people treat them like they're circus acts. Well, knock this over, throw this, do that. Would
Right?
you
Stupid
talk to
psychic
would you
Patricks.
talk to
We
someone
hate
like that
that.
in real life? Would you talk to a living person in real life like that? So why would you do
Right?
it to them?
yeah.
Treat them like human beings. That's what they are.
That's why that's like people ask me like, what's your favorite paranormal show? And I'll go, my number one is Destination Fear. Because they on an episode said make a sound to let us know you're here. They made the sound, ran out, then they came back in and said, I know we told you to make a sound. We're sorry we ran out on you. Can you communicate again? And I was like, that took a lot of guts for them to admit they ran out after asking for that and to own it was their fault. Most shows I watch, they'll run out and then they'll go back in and go, oh, we wanted to do this. And it's like they ignore the fact that they ran out
Yeah.
on the spirit doing what they asked for.
Yeah.
I've discovered that tends to be a human trait. Right? I get this a lot where people will make a request, then it happens, then they get freaked the fuck out, and it's like, but you asked. What are we doing here?
If you guys can hear something amazing, Tiffany, would it be crossing the line if I asked you to share with Michael and Sherry and the alien over here?
Just say my name.
Okay, the pizza
Sorry.
guy over there with glasses.
I'm people too.
I'm
You are
kidding.
not. You're an alien.
He's an alien in human form.
Basically. And I have the genetic proof. That's the cool part.
Alien.
So what were you going to ask, Tiffany?
Go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
Yeah, what were you
Everybody-
asking, Tiffany?
Oh, yeah.
Since you already unleashed it.
Explain to them what you can do.
So I can pick up on energies. I have walked to places. I do not know the histories. I have walked to places and I have vividly described events in great detail of people and places, come to find out later that it is verified automatically through historical records of what I described. The perfect example is in high school, I went on a tour. This was a field trip by my school. We went to the state building of Texas. I have no prior history to this place. When I get there, I started noticing these men in different attire from the 1800s. As we got closer onto the second floor, I started smelling burning wood, burning fire. I heard horses screaming, and etc. Come to find out after I had left that place that the actual building caught on fire twice. Several of the men have died, and many of the horses did suffer fatalities. That was a place that I've never been to before.
Which
Another
building?
one,
Ghost horses are a thing, folks, and they are scary.
Yeah.
another
Which-
one is the
Which building
Alamo,
was that?
the state building of Austin, where they passed the bills and legislation.
Oh, our state capitol. Yeah. Okay.
And I've never been there before, and I was only 17 at the time.
Paul asks, when we pass, do we have a chance in where we do we have a choice in where we reincarnate to? Yes, the choice is yours. It's one of the great things about crossing over. You can go anywhere, any when, any who.
Right.
You know?
I think
And
Tiffany
another-
wasn't done.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do that sometimes.
And another place was, of course, the
Nice.
Alamo.
The Alamo. Yeah.
So I moved to San Antonio about 20 some years ago. I did not know the history of the Alamo. I decided to go on what was it, February 13th. A lot of people think that the Alamo was a one-day kind of thing, and that was it. It was actually 3 months. But anyways, I went there and I had come across these guns that were found in the Alamo. They all belong to the soldiers. Who they belong to doesn't really say, doesn't specify. Everything's behind glass there. I come across the very back. This is called the barracks of the Alamo. You can go visit. I came across this uniform in particular, and I started seeing a lot of the cannons being shot. I smelled smoke. I saw men dying. It got real intense to the point where I felt like I was being stabbed. Could not be in the building, and I had to leave. It was too much. But I was able to draw the people very particular faces of what I was seeing. That was
That's
my
pretty cool.
encounter there.
Oh, and you guys should see her artwork too. She's great.
And now, Tiffany, you're in Texas, yeah?
I'm in
Yeah.
Texas.
Michael, you're in Texas, yeah?
Yeah.
Tiffany, you've told me before you wanted to learn about the paranormal. Michael's obviously a knowledgeable guy in the paranormal. That might be a chance to get into the field right there.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting, Tiffany, is I have gone to Vicksburg and Yorktown, and
Yeah.
I had the same experience you're talking about, to where I could see the battles playing out, and
Yeah.
it was like watching a movie. The only difference was not only could I smell the gunpowder and the smoke, I could also smell the blood.
Yeah.
Don't make me
And
hungry.
one of the strangest encounters I've ever had was I used to live in El Paso. If you probably don't know El Paso, everybody says it's haunted. That's because it literally is. That place is so old.
Isn't El Paso
yeah.
like all an Indian burial ground?
Pretty much Wild West, Mexican frontier slash battle garage. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It's everything it
Yeah.
has.
That if memory serves, that's Comanche land, and that leaves a pretty awful
Apache
stink.
too.
Well, Apache is a weird kind of thing, but
No,
yeah,
You also have the Pueblo de Sur tribe, their cast,
Yep.
the Pueblo tribe.
right.
They were forced
And
to the mountains of Juarez, Mexico, from further up in Oregon and etc. They were moved down by the conquistadors.
and I don't know when you were last in El Paso, but we have a Jurassic Park security border there. It looks like Jurassic Park.
Oh,
Huge walls. The doors don't line up. They are
gotcha.
huge doors. It's like you would expect a T-Rex to come walking through, is how tall these doors are. It's like you look at it, you're like, you can't help but go, my God, I've gone to Isla Nublar or whatever island Jurassic Park was on, looking at this wall, going, wow.
Yeah. One of the most haunted places is, you've probably heard about this. I know it's all over in Juarez, Mexico, and all over Mexico. Is El Paso High School is one of the most. It used to be a high school, still is one of the longest running U.S. schools. Goes back as far as 18th century. Not a lot is known prior to that. It's just land. Still in use today. There's parts of it came out that is marked off. There is no official disclosure as to why they're marked off. A lot of it is like time capsules prior to 1900s.
Sounds like
At
we're doing a show there, Brian.
yes, sir.
the basement actually used to serve as a morgue during World War I and World War II. My grandfather told me. So, and then you had the girl that committed suicide. There's a whole lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah,
Right.
El Paso.
No,
is
that's another day. That's another day. Let me go back. Let me backtrack.
El Paso is a world unto itself.
Yes, it is. It is.
I wish
Now-
I'd met you guys 9 weeks ago. I was in Texas.
Where are you now?
Ooh, where
I'm in
at?
the UK. I live in the UK, but I'm moving to Texas. I'm going to my fiance that lives in Texas, so I'll be moving over there.
What part?
She's marrying American. Wise choice.
No, she's
So-
marrying Texan. Even
Yeah,
wiser.
he's native. He's
All right.
the most amazing man
got
in
me.
the world. And because obviously, like I said, I've always been really attracted to native life. I believe that in a past life, as well as being in my alien form, obviously, I believe that I've been native.
Is
And
that why?
when I stepped in Texas, it felt like I was stepping home. It did
that
go
why-
in there. It was weird.
Is that why you're looking into shamanism?
Shamanism, because of my pups, the guy that I follow on YouTube. we call each other father and daughter because we've got a spiritual connection where we was a
Right.
mother and a father and daughter in a past life. We found each other in this life. I don't have a dad, so I look at him as my dad. He
Cool.
is a full scale shaman, and that's been trained from child. And
Nice.
obviously, I'm very spiritual and I'm very nature based. So I wanted to learn, as well as my witchcraft, I wanted to learn about shamanism. I had a very strong bond, and I've always been very connected to native stuff as well. And I knew that shamanism is part of that. So that's another reason that I'm
Big
looking
part of
into
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
folks, that's why like you hear in the old westerns, the native talk about medicine. I want you guys to understand that was an attempt for them to try to get across that what they do isn't magic, it's technology. It's just a different base. Most human technology these days is based on metallurgy, basically. To my species perception, you guys bang rocks together until they talk to each other. You see, so but that's why they'll call it medicine, not magic. You see what I mean? They're trying to get
Yeah,
across that
and
it
that
is
is what
a way.
shamanism is. It's more
Yeah.
about it is more about like medicine. It's using
Mhm.
trees and plants and things to be able to do things for people. It's natural way of life. That's what I
Right.
believe. I believe
Yeah.
in the natural way. Like I'm not very big on going to the doctors and using their prescribed medication. I don't trust it. I'd rather go to a remedy, an old school way. That is just how I am. And
Well, I imagine, given your
they
differential
are known as
DNA,
medicine doctors, or medicine women. That is what they are.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that what like I use magic through using my tools, but your magic doesn't come from your tools. Your magic comes from within. Shamanism is like using magic, but not the same way as what you would as a witch. It's where you use the energies of the plants, you use the energies of the trees, you use the energies of nature, and things like that. That's how we progress. We use the energies of like all sorts of things,
Thank you,
fire, wood,
Raymond.
all sorts.
The
It is
the
a bit
island
different. It is
of
different.
souls.
I would say what divides a shaman from other traditions is less reliance on magic and like plant medicine, what you're talking about, and more.
Yeah.
And this is just an opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. This is just from my journey, and more about basically obedience to the spirits. You see what I mean? I think that's just my opinion, but I think that's what kind of divides a shaman from a witch. And keep in mind, I married a Wiccan, so it's like if she were in the room, she'd have a lot to say. She would be going gaga over that tapestry. But
Yeah, no, like for me, like obviously because I'm studying my shamanism and I'm studying my witchcraft. I know that there are a difference in it, but I am very much connected in both of my beliefs with spirit. It's always been about the spirit. Even in my witchcraft, I use my elements. I use my powers of nature.
Right.
I always have. That I am a natural nature witch. I am a nature witch. I work with nature. I work with energies. That is who I am.
Are you a solitary
Um,
practitioner or do you have a coven?
I do not go through coven. I do not believe in I'm not saying that you shouldn't follow them. I am all natural. I've learned naturally through my shamanism, through my witchcraft. I've learned natural through my investigations.
Right.
I do not do certification. I do not do any of that. I like to go by me and what I learn through experience. That's just how I do it.
I like that method too, because
Yeah.
then it keeps other people's paradigm from messing with yours.
And you're not
Fair.
overcluded then by people's
Right.
opinions and that, are you? You've got your own way and your own way of working. I just think that
Yeah.
Oh I'm no. I'm just raising my hand for when you're done, so I don't forget.
I thought you said to like 1 minute.
No.
Natural and like I believe in natural energy. Natural energy is the way forward in all of this. Like it's believing in yourself. It's believing in what you see. It's what you when you're reading books and you're reading all these sort of things. It clouds your mind on what is real.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So I like to do it naturally. I'll go and touch a tree and I can hear a tree talking to me. I can hear a plant talking to me.
Yeah.
Everything has energy and everything is living. That is how I look at it.
And I agree. I just wanted to mention for those of you guys who are interested in learning these things, interested in the academy and whatnot, the discipline that Tiffany and Michael were talking about specifically is known as psychometry. It is very learnable. You can teach yourself this discipline. The fact that Tiffany was born with that natural talent doesn't mean you can't do it at home. She's just awesome. You know what I mean? She's got the cheat codes, but you can learn
But
it.
I also have one more experience I haven't talked about.
Well, he had number 2.
Yeah, before that, I was gonna say to Sherry, I had an experience I think you would be floored about. I had in the previous year shattered my leg, and I healed it by going into the Bay of Maui, Hawaii, and touching the dirt on the very bottom of the ocean.
Hmm.
And a year later, I was in Spain and fell on my leg. And of course, anybody who knows when you're in surgery, your mind starts to freak out because the doctors tell you don't fall on this leg.
Yeah.
And I need to go back. And my parents take me back on the ship. We were on a cruise, and the door was open so I could hear the ocean. And they're like, "Do we need to call the doctor?" And I'm like, "No." I closed my eyes, and all of a sudden I hear this voice comes out of nowhere and says, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And it goes, "Who are you?" I said, "Well, I say, "I'm Michael. That's who I am." He goes, "So who are you?" And I was like, "I'm Michael." And then I realized what they're asking me isn't who am I in this human form, but what I can do. And I go, "Oh, I'm so and so." And they go, and all of a sudden, the next thing I know is I see the energy of the ocean coming, circling around my leg, and it was totally restored and fine.
Exactly,
Interesting.
and it is everything like nature and outdoors and elements and all of that is the most amazing way to connect, and it's the most uplifting way to be healed. Like if you notice a lot of people, what do you do when you're stressed and you're upset? You go and walk in nature, don't you? And what do you feel like when you're doing that? You come back feeling lifted, happy, because these energies that are here that a lot of people take for granted and don't bother going to very much are actually your healers. Like when you look at a tree, like most people would look at a tree and go, "Oh, it's just a tree." I look at a tree and I see my ancestors. I hear the voices of my ancestors telling me what I should be doing. I put certain ribbons to the trees to protect the trees. Like in my witch faith, if you put a red ribbon to a tree, it symbolizes that that tree is protected by a witch. That tree is protected by an energy. But also, like, I will not take anything from nature without asking. And if I do take a branch, I'll put a ribbon on there to stop it from being in pain, because trees, believe it or not, scream when you break their branches. Even though you can't hear it, they scream.
This is true,
Oh,
You
yeah.
do
botanically
hurt them,
speaking.
and you have to put things back in place. So tying ribbons and doing blessings on them and thanking them, giving them offerings. Like I'll take copper, like pennies, put that down. I'll take beautiful stones that I might have found and put that down. This is for you. I'll take water with me and to pour water to it to give it drink. I do all of that because they are a living thing. And I don't see it as a tree. I see that as an ancestor. I see that as my ancestor. That is somebody that has looked after me all these years. That's how I see it.
No, you
I've had
really have to come
conversations
up
with
I
the
like that.
wind.
and hang out with me.
So
I like having conversations with the wind. You can learn a
The
lot
wind
from the
is
wind.
the most beautiful thing to have a conversation with. Like where most people do it, like, "Woo!" It's not. It's voices. Listen to it. You can hear them talking to you. You can hear it talk to you if you listen. You can.
You can paint with all the colors of the wind. Have
Yep.
you ever seen the wolf cry to the blue
Pocahontas.
corn moon?
Of the
Yeah,
colours of the wind. Woo!
I almost busted out in song. I resisted it.
Oh, I love that. I love that
I
film growing
know,
up. I
right? Oh my
absolutely loved
God.
it.
Colors of the wind.
Yeah.
Good
I
one.
have to admit, I can't stand the way they twisted the story of what actually happened with Pocahontas, but it was still such a good movie. You know what I mean?
It was.
Yeah.
As a biopic,
Yeah, she's
but
singing
as a
about the
movie,
ocean's got a voice, the trees have got a voice, and things like
right?
that, and all of the animals, and like where
Yeah.
you could see John Smith going to go and shoot at the bear, and she put the gun down, and was like,
Yeah.
and then she put it,
Showed
from
him
a
that
very
he
young
was
age, I've
protecting
loved
his young, not
Pocahontas.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
um,
speaking to perception and speaking of Native Americans, just real quick, something you guys can look up for yourselves, at home. I want you guys to understand the Native Americans, when white people very first showed up, the Native Americans couldn't see their boats. They'd be looking right at them and they could not see the boats. The shaman had to explain what these white people were arriving in, and then and only then could the natives actually see the boats. You see,
Yeah.
that kind of
It was
technology was
aliens to
so
them.
far. Right, exactly.
They didn't
That-
know it.
Right. So bringing it all back to sort of the point, and this is where where tarot comes in, and all the magic spells come in, and even like the face painting on the Day of the Dead. Your perception influences so much of the paranormal world. It is it should be scary, but you guys ignore it. Understanding and knowledge is what breaks through that barrier. You know,
Mhm.
not the butthurt. Oh, look at us, we're so great because we've got TVs or whatever. It let go of the ego, and you can see what we're talking about.
I was gonna mention my last experience.
God, I suck. I'm sorry, Tiff.
It's okay.
Go for it, Tiff. The floor is yours.
Um, so the last one was going to the main public library of El Paso. The main public library, I did not know this at the time, was built on the very first cemetery of El Paso ever. You have Native Americans, you have bordellas that were there, you had your outlaws, you have everything there. And they did not remove the bodies. I did not know that. And ironically, right across the street, you have the Science Museum that also has its own fair share of stories, but that's another day. So I was helping with the camp in the Science Museum, and the students were learning about butterflies. The teacher wanted to use that book, A Very Hungry Caterpillar, and I'm like, oh, I know what that is. Okay, let me go across the street. Let me go to the library. I'll go find it. I'll come back, and we can learn about caterpillars. It wasn't that hard. So when I went up onto the second floor, because I've never been to that library before, I've been to other locations. I noticed that in the children's section, it's pretty deep on the second floor. Like, there's not a lot of people in there. When I was going through the books, I finally found the book that I was looking for, and I kept hearing like cowboy things that they used to have that you see in the movies. Those things that make noise. I looked up and I saw this gentleman. He was probably in his mid 60s. He was an elderly gentleman. I noticed that he was very nice. He looked like a real person, couldn't distinguish what he was. I thought he was a tourist because you have a lot of people in tourists in El Paso that dress up like cowboys because they think Texas is cowboy land. So I just didn't think anything of it at the time, though. The individual came up to me and he said, "Excuse me, ma'am," and he took off his hat. Very polite, very sincere gentleman. And he told me, "Where is the washroom?" Now, somebody that hears washroom, they know that washroom, that's not our time. That's cowboy time. And I remember was thinking to myself, washroom, where have I heard that? I was like, oh, you mean bathroom? Yeah. If you go to the down the hall, you take a left and then you take another right, there's your bathroom. He said, thank you. He put on his hat and he started walking off, and I didn't think anything of it. I grabbed the book and then I noticed that the man's boots weren't making noise anymore. So I turned over and the man actually floated into the wall.
That's cool.
So, yeah, and this is what I'm trying to say is that some entities, they introduce themselves to you.
And not
They
always
don't,
in a friendly way.
yeah,
But
you
they
have
do,
friendly
yeah.
ones and you have ones that like, are asking about the bathroom. Whatever, man, that's not my business. He's alive, he's dead.
Everybody's
But
got to go at some point.
well, I found that interesting
What if
because
that's what ectoplasm is?
But that's what a lot of people think, though, don't they? When you say the word spirit or something like that, they think that spirits are like see-through and that you'd be able to tell. But sometimes they look just as alive as what we do. You wouldn't even know that they're dead until you. Like I've had a similar experience to Tiffany when I've been. Like I get it quite a lot when I'm walking through the street. I'll physically see them walking past me where other people can't see them, and they look like they're alive, but they're not. And then you'll notice that they walk through a wall, or they walk through the lamppost, and that they don't always look see-through and fluorescent. It really depends on them, and their energy and things. That all of them are different, aren't they? So
Stuff like this makes me glad I'm blind.
I love it.
So,
Like I used to, when I was growing up, I used to be really scared of them because I used to get some really weird experiences and stuff. I used to be scared of them growing up, but then obviously I knew they weren't leaving me because of my abilities and stuff. So I had to learn to accept them. And now I'm addicted to the paranormal. I can't help it. If I don't see a spirit, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm happy to I have spirits randomly turn up and come and talk to me like for help and things like that. And I'm used to it. And it's like people go, "Don't you get freaked out?" And that then I'm like, I used to a long time ago when I was younger, but now I've got so used to it. No, I don't get freaked out anymore, and I accept them. And they go, "Do you see them in a nice way?" I said, "Sometimes I see them in the way that they died. Sometimes I see them in their nice form. It really just depends." But I've learned over time to be able to look past how they look and just look at them that they're human. They can't help what happened to them or how they look. It's just one of those things.
yeah.
I've got a guy that comes to me all the time that has half a face because he was in a motorbike accident, and like for some people they would freak out seeing that, and they'd be like, "What the hell?" Like, but for me, I've got so used to him now that I don't see that injury anymore. I see him as him.
You get used to it.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Paul wants to know
Well,
if we can
anyways,
talk about Skinwalker.
Brian-
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So, anyways, Brian, did I answer your question?
You sure did.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Brian. I'm cracking up over what Cass is talking about. Paulie said, "What are your thoughts on Skinwalker Ranch?" Because we were just talking about that before we started the show.
Oh, bingo.
Yes, we were.
Mm.
I knew that was
Skin-
going to come up.
Skinwalker Ranch is a very interesting place, and it's not just because of spirit. There are meant to be many different things that happen there. I do believe that Skinwalker Ranch is some sort of opening for all sorts of energy. To be quite
All right.
honest,
All
definitely.
right. But before we talk about the Skinwalker Ranch here, we're at 2 hours and 11 minutes.
I gotta go to bed.
Tiffany, you got to go to bed. Cass, Michael, Sherry, Skinwalker Ranch is going to take us probably another hour to discuss. Are you guys down for it?
Yeah.
Michael?
I can
Yeah.
stay on for as long as I can, but over here in the UK, it's 5:11 in the morning.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
You are such a night owl, Sherry.
I am what they call a vampire, apparently. I am nocturnal. I do not sleep at night.
I'm still
Hey.
curious where you're moving in Texas.
I am going to Laredo,
Oh, okay. I know where that's at.
Laredo.
Texas.
Laredo.
I call it Laredo. I
Cowboy
don't know why I
people.
call it Laredo, but yeah, Laredo.
Oh, yeah.
No,
There's a
San
lot of
Antonio
cities
used to
you'll
be
find
called
in
the Hub.
Texas. You gotta be careful how you pronounce them. Like,
Yes,
Laredo.
yes.
My
Don't, if you
Waco.
don't say it
about
right,
that a
you
few
will.
times.
Yeah, people will be angry. But
Yeah,
I found something interesting. Texas is actually so in the great 1600s. Texas was a part of Mexico.
Yeah.
Spain, actually, but yeah.
Texas is actually the word Tejas in Spanish, which means friendship. A lot of the immigrants that moved to Texas during, that it was part of Mexico and they offered free land to Europeans, Germans, anybody that was willing to come here, they had a hard time pronouncing Tejas. So they would call it Texas. That's why it's called Texas today.
And
A lot
I
of
I'll
did
tell
not know
you,
our
that.
a lot of our towns here in Texas, perfect place would be New Braunfels. New Braunfels is a German town, so we have a lot of German and Polish and all kinds of
Fredericksburg.
immigrant. Fredericksburg, Fredericksburg is known for their peaches. They have yummy peaches. Uh,
Yep,
but
that's a German
anyways,
town. We
we
have
we also
London,
have
Paris, Rome, Palestine. You can go to pretty much any place in Europe in Texas.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
and I have
And,
noticed that some of the names are very similar to places, like other places and stuff like that. I have noticed that, but obviously I'm going to that area because that is where my partner is from, and when I was over there, I watched some really interesting documentaries on where they originate from and their native way and how they lived before it become what it was. Very interesting place. I just felt like it was home, like I'd stood on a land that I knew already. I've always felt very connected to Texas, most definitely.
And the
I'll tell you
interesting thing
what,
about Texas when we were a republic, not only
we,
as I was telling Brian, did we have two revolutions that we won for our freedom, but we actually reached from the Rio Grande to Canada. And as far west as Arizona, I believe, was Texas. And they carved it up to bring it into the United States. So I always have this interesting thought of if Texas was to ever leave the United States, would we get all our territory back? Or would they only allow
probably,
us our state size?
probably because more than half of the United States was Mexico. There was only the 13 little states when America was first founded. Everything
I'll tell
else,
you what,
the
all
Mexicans
all
pretty
my
much.
exes live in Texas.
Exactly. There you go,
Texas
Brian.
is the
So
place that I truly long to be.
And just as everything's bigger in Texas, we fought more revolutions than America. So,
we also have the Tejano people. If you've never heard of that, Sherry, the Tejano people are people that are mixed race. I am someone that is of Tejano
yep.
heritage. Mamita is what they call me in Mexico. Somebody who is mixed with Native American, Mexican, and American all in one. We even had our own language, the Tejano language, which we shared with the people that were settling in Mexico. Tejano usually refers to people that are mixed race and their ancestors go back to Mayans and Aztecs and lived mostly in Mexico. They have either lived in Mexico, northern part, all the way from Juarez to Mexico City, but no further than that, and up into Texas.
Yeah,
So,
see, I'm still learning a lot about Texas and stuff like that. Like where I was, and where my partner's business is. Like literally, if you just go down the road where the bridge is, you're actually on the barrier of where Mexico is. You can actually see Mexico, and I thought that was like fascinating and stuff like
yeah,
that.
so
But I did say to my partner like about going there, and he goes, it probably is not a very good idea to go there at the moment, baby. There's a lot of stuff going on over there. Like he's told me about a lot of things, and it says. He goes, maybe when it gets a bit better, like when you come back, then I'll be able to take you over there and that. But it was really fascinating because obviously for me, being in the UK, I've never left my country. So that was my first time getting on an aeroplane. That was my first time going to another country. And it really opened my eyes because I've only ever been used to seeing these places on TV and things like that. So for me, it was just so real. And I was just like, it is just completely different. And I absolutely loved it. Like everyone was going, you're going to get, well, what is it called? Have you had the shock yet? Like, because obviously where I've come from somewhere else, there's like they
culture
say
shock.
something like, "Have you had the shock yet?" Like, because you're in a different
Yeah.
place, and I didn't. I felt at home. Like they were going, "You're going to overheat because you're not used to the weather." Not me. I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
I
Our
was like,
winters just wait for the summer. The summer here is triple digits.
That's that Pleiadian in you. You loved the heat.
I do. And like, obviously, like my family, they have, like, my mum is mixed race. Like, we originate from Jamaica. Okay. So we're used to heat.
Cool.
And like, he goes, he's like, well, you had your shock yet? And I'm like, no, like, it doesn't affect me. I like the food, everything. It just tasted familiar. Everything just tasted like felt
Yeah.
familiar and tasted familiar. It's like I'd been there
Well,
before, like, sort
So
of thing.
you're
I was going to
UK and
question
Jamaican.
Sherry.
Yeah.
It's not as
Yeah.
uncommon as you think. There's
That's
actually quite a large Jamaican population in the UK.
Yeah, Britain used to be owned Jamaica, and so did several European during their colonial age. They would mix with the Jamaicans.
Yeah, my family originate from Kingston,
Cool.
Jamaica.
I always wanted to go to Jamaica.
It's
I
a
was
really
going
cool
to answer
place.
your question, Sherry. You said you were interested about Mexico, correct? The land.
I do
Mexico.
find Mexico very interesting and stuff like that. I do.
The Aztec land.
As somebody that has family in Juarez, Ciudad, Mexico, all I can tell you is that at one point, yes, it was safe to go there. We would go there often to visit family, spend time. But it is a very big culture shock if you're used to a third world country. Well, it's gonna be even a shocker for you, for the little things that First First Nations take for granted. That's all I could tell you. It is a major eye opener. Um, there is a drug cartel that
Oh yeah, and I
has.
know all about all of this because when I was there was actually something that kicked off over there. Where you could like, from my partner's backyard, you could actually hear the gunshots where there was something going on over there. That
Yeah.
there was like a shootout, and you could hear the guns going off. It was nuts. And
Well,
obviously,
and
coming
there's
from the UK, we're not allowed to have guns, so that side of it is scary to me because I'm not allowed to use guns over here, and so
well,
yeah,
and there's also
But
two police forces in
that-
Mexico: the friendly police that will actually help you, and
And
then
the drug-
there's the other ones that'll help you get kidnapped and hold you ransom.
yeah.
Will break your car so they have a reason to hold you.
Yeah, no,
anyway,
like, when I said, can I go to can you take me to Mexico? Can you take me over there and show me? He was like, no, not at the minute. He goes, it's not safe
Yeah.
for you. Like, he goes, it's not even safe for me to walk there at the moment, baby. And he goes, and I'm from here. He goes, and I would not take you because they'd know straight away that you're different. They'd know that you're not from here. And it's like he would never, ever let me walk around the streets on my own. He goes, because of the way that you look and because you're different, you'll get a lot of attention and stuff like that. You're not going anywhere on your own. And I'm like, I can handle myself. He goes, handling yourself in the UK and handling yourself here is completely different. I'm like,
Very,
I will agree with that.
Yeah.
yeah.
very.
well,
Period.
going to Mexico,
What you need
the
to
best
do is.
for tourists.
Oh, go ahead, Tiffany.
If you want to visit Mexico, I would probably advise Mexico City. I would not advise Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, because that is a drug cartel
Headquarters.
owned headquarters. Yeah, I hate to say that. My family's Mexican, so that's why they over there mixed race people. If they see your family's Mexican, okay, well then they'll let it fly. But at one point, Ciudad Juarez was very beautiful as a
Thank you,
child.
Alicia.
It really was. But unfortunately, bad things happen, right? So, but I do have very beautiful memories of that place.
Yeah, and my partner said the same thing. Like, he says, it did used to be a beautiful country, and when you used to be very accepted over there, and they were very open. He goes, but over time it's changed, and with all the cartel and everyone coming in now, you have to be very careful. They kind of run everything, like, so I don't want to take you there, not just because of I don't want to. He goes, I know that you wouldn't be safe if I took you there, like, and I was just like, Okay,
Uh,
and you know, a nice,
But
I said a nice settled
you
for that,
don't have to
and you know,
worry.
I won't.
Yeah, you don't
I'm
here's what
not.
have to
you
worry.
do in that
In
situation. You
Texas,
tell your boyfriend or your fiance, sorry, that you know a guy for hire that's I don't know, 6'5", 385 pounds, former ex-professional
lucho
wrestler,
libre, lucho libre.
and really cheap rates, really good protection, big bulky beard, bald head, tattoos all over. Real swell fella.
Well, all I
Let
Anyway,
me
know,
protect you.
all I can.
anyway, Sherry, in Texas, we do have a lot of Mexican culture, so you could still experience Mexico in a much peaceful place without
Yeah.
actually going to
It's
the
actually
States.
called
Oh yeah, no,
Tex-Mex.
I have actually
It's
met some.
Texas,
I
yes.
have actually,
Okay.
because obviously my partner runs a bar and stuff like that, and there are some Mexican people that have moved over to Texas area, and I did get to meet a few of them, and they were really nice people. But even they were sitting there and saying to me, "Yeah, no, he was right to say to not take you there, and we wouldn't want you to go there. Just stay here. You'd meet really nice people here, and
Yeah,
you
and
know,
Yeah.
in Texas, the people are really friendly. Um, we will be nice enough to share our food with you, like bake at least like
share
5,000
food. I was
cookies.
getting it thrown at me. Everywhere I walked, I was being given. I was like, "Whoa!" Like,
Yes, so
yeah,
usually in Mexican culture, food is a way of introducing ourselves to the community, so to speak. You'll get used to Mexican food very quickly, and we
oh, I
have
did.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Like I missed that. I come back here and this food tastes boring here. I don't like the food here. I keep saying to my partner, I want to come back. I need your food. I need your food, not this food here. Yours.
Yeah.
And he's like,
English
oh yeah.
bangers.
I make a lot of Mexican food, so you can hit me up, and I would be more than happy to make you some homemade tacos and quesadillas and whatever.
Don't, because I'll be searching for you now.
And Mexican street snacks I can make for you. So
And I also do investigations as well. So when I come over there, I'm somebody else you could come out with to do investigations and stuff as well.
yes,
So,
And when y'all get up here to Washington, I'll make you the Northwest specialty.
yes,
A
thank
big
you,
size,
Linda.
big size calzone. And I
Oh,
make them
Oh yeah.
homemade.
Well,
and
all,
Sherry, in October, we have Dios los Muertos here in San Antonio. You're more than welcome to. It's a festival. We do have a lot of dedication altars to people that have passed away in October. I
see,
think
yeah,
it's
I'm really intrigued in your Day of the Dead. Your Day
Yeah,
of the
that's
Dead, because
November
obviously I
2nd.
celebrate that here. Being a witch,
it
I do
actually
celebrate the
starts
Day of the Dead, but it's completely different over there.
Yeah.
it actually starts October 31st until November 2nd.
Oh crap, you guys. Sorry,
yeah.
Paulie.
All I know about that whole area is your partner is right. Be careful. The
Yeah.
number of requests for protection that had come out of that area have more than quadrupled in the last few years. And what's disturbing the most for me personally is the number of people who have contacted me and request for a kidnapped family member out of that area. Everybody I know there says the cartels are taking over. So please
Yeah.
be careful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, like
Trafficking
literally,
is
I wanted to, because
serious over there.
obviously I hadn't been there before, so I wanted to see everywhere. But when he told me about what it's like over there now, it's kind of changed my opinion on going there now, because he's explained it, and obviously through me being just in his back garden and hearing the guns go off, I was like, maybe I don't want to go there. And he's like, yeah, no, just stay here. Like it was just my.
She froze.
So beautiful. I thought, well, what's Mexico going to be like? But then when he explained it and all that stuff was going on, I was like, okay, I'll just stay in Texas, and I wouldn't go there on my own. I have like anxiety and loads of different issues, so I would never be able to travel somewhere on my own. I
Right.
wanted him to come with me, as I wouldn't
Yeah.
have gone. And he was like, I won't even step there at the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
right, okay.
Even you got to be careful on the border. Even on the Texas side, you got to be careful because they can snatch and grab and haul you over
Yeah.
to the other side. So it's best to always have someone with you when
Right.
you're
Yeah, well, I
near the
had my
border.
partner Rudy. I had my partner Rudy with me, and I had his dad with me because they took me around to look at a lot of places. And they go, "Look, I know you said you want to go to Mexico." I said, "Yeah." They go, "You can't." He goes, "But we'll show you Mexico." And I was like, "How are you going to do that?" "We'll take you to the riverbank. It divides Mexico and
Rio
Texas,
Grande.
and there's a
The
bridge."
Rio
The
Grande.
So
Rio
they had me
Grande.
on the riverbank, and they like stood with me, and I was just taking pictures. And they go, "That's Mexico," and I was just like, "It looks so beautiful." They go, "It looks beautiful, but when you go there, you'll find out different. If you went there, you'd find it out
Yeah.
differently. Like
Yeah,
literally."
And
and
actually, the
Take me
Rio
in the
Grande
side.
is the third border between Mexico and Texas. They finally settled on.
and in
Yeah. They
El
go,
Paso,
this is as close as you'll get into it." And I was like, "Okay." They go, "There's a river between us, so we're safe. You ain't going no further." And I'm like, "Right, okay."
in
You know.
El Paso, they have two mountains. So on the American side, you have Trans Mountain, in which the mountain actually is lit up, and you can see it from the airplane. And on the Mexican side, it has a phrase on it. You can see it. I can see it very, very vividly in my mind. And unfortunately, on that other part, that maybe your curiosity is curious about, the Mexican homes are usually shacks, and a lot of them, it's very sad to see, a lot of them are abandoned because a lot of the people are afraid of the cartels. So,
Yeah,
but
no. And
after
I
And
haven't got no intentions to go there now, like after
you
what he
know,
told me and stuff.
Can we get back to supernatural stuff?
well,
This is
Sorry,
kind of
Matt.
starting to feel like a geography class.
I was gonna say a fun fact for
Well, let me bring
Sherry.
up my board.
Hold
Oh,
on.
and Kat,
Yeah.
I don't have the gnome anymore. I have a selfie. You're welcome.
I was gonna tell Sherry real quick. Another thing is she's probably heard of the Rockies that are famous in Colorado. They're
Yeah,
actually dead end in El Paso. So we
yeah,
have the
they
Rocky
end in El
Mountains in
Paso.
Texas too.
Yeah.
Rocky
Yeah,
Mountains are the
my
best
lift
mountains.
driver had to stop and ask me, like, where are you from? Because your voice is not American. I said, I'm from El Paso. Yeah, but where are you from? I'm from El Paso and Juarez. VIP trip. So, yeah.
Hey, Donna.
Texans have their own language. You'll start to learn like y'all.
Young
They had,
too.
like, it took me a while to get used to the different accents
Y'all,
over there.
Jagger.
Definitely.
Yeah, you'll know you'll know you're native when you start typing y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I don't
I
do
do.
I do.
I do.
I'm originally from the north. It took me a long time, but I do it now.
that. Yeah, my grandpa was from West Virginia. He had a twang accent, and then my dad speaks Spanish, so it's like a Mexican twang
Yeah.
accent going on in Mexico.
Oh, and fun fact for you, Sherry: if you stay in Texas as a resident for 14 years, under Texas law, you are a natural Texan.
Oh,
Yeah.
good, because that's what I want to become. Natural tech. Yeah, definitely.
So it actually is in our Constitution. 14 years of residency, you are declared a native
See, like for
Texan.
me, this is all new to me, and that, like I was saying to it, like, because my boy, like, obviously, my partner's not been with a foreign woman, because obviously over it, like, because we would say that, like, you guys are foreign, but he says, no, you're foreign. You're from the UK. You're foreign. When you're here, you're the foreigner, not us. And I'm like, okay.
To me,
And he
you're
goes,
all
like,
foreigners.
like, and he's like,
I know a
like,
great band called Foreigner.
I
No,
like,
that was
I need, like,
no.
I need to find, like, obviously the marriage license. I need to find out how much it would be for a visa, what would be the best visa to go for, all these sort of things. I've not done this all before. Like, I never asked him to fall in love with a guy on the other side of the world, but that happened. And 2 years over the line
Congratulations.
talking to him. I've been with him for 2 years, and we'd never ever seen each other until 9 weeks ago. That was the first time we ever met. First
Well,
time.
congratulations.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Mine and my wife.
I can't wait to be over there.
Me and my wife met almost the exact same way.
She
We
was in
talked,
the UK.
I'm in the UK, and he's like over there and that. And he used to come into my room, my paranormal room, and he used to put these black love arts in the room. And I didn't know why. I didn't really click on that first, and then one day, like, we just started talking and we just kind of clicked, and he'd said that I've liked you for a while, and I was like, really? And then
I thought
I'd
you
always
meant he
heard
was
his voice.
actually coming into
But-
your room. I was like,
Yeah, he was
astral
not
traveled
in
that
my
way.
not in my bedroom, no, but
they've
into
probably
my
done
chat
that
room,
too.
like on
That don't sound right.
and he would be there and put these love arts and things like that. But I'd never seen him. I would only hear his voice, and it was something about his voice that pulled me in. And just one day we was on a friend's panel, and he turned his camera on, and I was just, wow. You just know when you meet the one, don't you? It was like love at
Yes.
first sight. I was like, yeah. Well, we've been inseparable ever since, and like, he didn't. I think he thought that I weren't gonna come when I'd say I was gonna come over to him, and that was like, yeah, okay, like, and I did. You know, like literally, I paid to get over there, and it's true love, definitely true love.
Yeah,
That's
a lot of people are
Yeah,
attracted
that's
to our
supernatural right
Texas
there for you, Kaz.
voices.
Yeah,
Jerry,
it was paranormal that got us together.
what's
Oye,
been
Brian from the dead, where is my taco, por favor?
Human mating rituals confuse the shit out of me. I'm just going to say that right now.
They confuse the shit out of humans too. So
That makes sense. That actually makes sense.
Well, I'm a single Pringle, so I don't have that problem.
I'm a single guy, so
I haven't been single in over 10 years.
Now I feel bad. I'm in a polyamorous relationship. It's like, okay.
I forget what single is.
Yeah, it's like, what's that word? Sing. Is that a food?
it's a singularity.
Single Pringle.
Yeah.
We're a singularity in the cosmos.
Now, my people live in family groups, and the amount of cheating on and divorce and whatnot on this planet, I'm starting to think you guys aren't really monogamous. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look,
Uh,
I've had
Mom,
my
the
fair
two
share of
cats.
bad relationships. So, before I met Rudy, I'd been on my own for a long time because I'd suffered quite a lot of stuff. I'd been through domestic violence and things like that. So I didn't really trust men very much. And
You got a name?
Rudy saved my heart
Do
and
you have a name?
opened me up to know that there is true love still, and
Good.
you know there are good people out there.
Would you mind spelling the name of the person who hurt you?
Oh well, no, you'll be having a long list because there's been several.
I got time.
Kaz is looking awfully excited for
Don't feel
this
bad,
list.
Carrie. I've been through domestic violence.
I got my start here by working with a domestic violence underground railroad out of Oakland. What we did was we basically, when you couldn't call anybody else, you called us. You know, like battered wives of cops. You know, women in that position. Sorry, I'm getting you guys seeing my boob sweat. Like when a woman is in a situation where her husband is beating her and he's a cop, she's fucked. So that's when you called somebody like us. We could get you out.
Yeah.
Domestic violence is one of the most hated things here.
Were police officers. They were just really crappy men
Oh, yeah.
that didn't know how to look after women properly. And
Right.
you know, I went through domestic violence and I went through sexual abuse with them as well. So yeah, I've been through quite a lot of crap. Yeah, and they got away with it. They got away with it as well.
You're around.
No, they didn't.
Now,
They didn't get away with it.
And I've got 2 children that were took off me by social services because of it. I've been without my kids for 10 years, 12 years.
Jesus. You should have met me a long time
And they
ago.
won't give me my kids back.
We'll see.
That's
My boy was took at 2.5 years old, and my daughter was took from birth. I had her, and then 3 days after giving birth to her, they come to the hospital and they removed her from my arms and took her from me.
Damn, that's cruel.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak later.
most definite. But guys,
Anyway, this past my Mimi's time. I gotta go to bed now.
Yeah.
Thank you for
I
having
think
us,
maybe
Tiffany.
the lodge thing, we should maybe do that another day.
right.
The talk about Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
There's one thing I really want to get to about that, actually, if we can, before the end of the show. Just like one thing.
Go ahead.
So you guys might be happy to learn we're actually working on a chance to go to Skinwalker Ranch and investigate the place in person. Okay, what we need right now to make that happen is resources and public interest. If we can prove that there's enough public interest, they will let us on the ranch. You know, for me personally, this is that it's been a long road. They don't want me there because they want that mystique. That's how they make their money, and they know that once we start investigating, we're going to crash the mystique wide open. You know, now personally, I think there's a UFO under the rocks, and that's what's causing all the disturbances. But we've never been there, so stay tuned because the Skinwalker episode is coming.
Definitely.
That's all I wanted to say.
Well, all right, guys. Well, Sherry, I appreciate you hopping on tonight and doing what you do, sharing them links. You are awesome and amazing. And
That's
Mr.
family
Michael,
for you. That's what family do.
Right.
you have been
Oh,
fabulous guest.
remembered what I was gonna say.
Oh, go ahead, Tiffany.
A lot of the star seeds, they have a lot of the constellations on the stars on their bodies. Did you know that?
Yeah, often in
Yeah.
birthmarks. Yeah. I don't have one. I feel gypped. I want
I
one.
have the Pleiades on my stomach.
That
Mine
does not
can't be
surprise
seen.
me. We've known each other a long time, Tiffany. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, my markings are not visible, but they're there.
Yeah. I have a lot of freckles, but I noticed that on my stomach they resemble the Pleiades.
I have like moles. I have like, well, they're
I
called
have them
beauty.
all
They say
over.
beauty spots. I call them, not moles. I think they sound horrible when you say that. Beauty spots.
Right.
I have a lot of them. I
Beauty
actually
spots.
I have 3 beauty spots that go in a triangle shape, and actually is my birth sign, which is Earth. It actually is on my back.
Like bop, 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 and then triangle.
Yep.
Nice.
That's interesting.
See, I wish I had something cool like that going on.
You don't have a birthmark? Yet?
No, I got plenty of scars though.
Kaz, give me a
Stars
Sharpie and we can have one for you in no time.
We'll put it as a lion for you,
Sounds
Kat.
really
You can get a lot of
afraid.
you can get a lot of those medical things now. I'm sure you could get one inserted into your body. They do all the
Actually, I
piercings
saw
and
that
things
you
now,
can
don't they?
actually
So
spray paint freckles on you. That's a trend. Yeah, I didn't know that was a
That's
thing.
interesting.
Why would
well,
I
what I'll
want
do is
to
I'll let
have
you
freckles
guys
spray
do
painted?
your goodbyes and stuff. I'm
I
gonna
have all
drop down.
natural freckles, but apparently somebody thought I spray painted them on. I'm like, no, they're too many in clusters. They're not. They're real.
Sherry.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh,
drop
real.
down into the room and let you guys say goodbye and that, because my partner, that was who was ringing me earlier, and
Gotcha,
I've told him he
gotcha.
had to wait, and he's been waiting 4 hours, so I'm gonna drop down.
Well, we are honored.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I'll talk
thanks
to you
for
later. I
coming
love you
on
all.
the show,
Peace
and
out,
I will
Sherry.
definitely bring you back on again.
And come on the coffee
Definitely.
show.
You're gonna have to come on my show as well, guys.
If the invitation's there, I'll be there. I'm
Hey,
ahead.
Definitely.
I'll
All of
come
you,
to any show
definitely.
that offers.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
All
All
right.
right, thanks.
Bye bye.
All
She's
right.
interesting. I like her.
You
And
too.
thank you Tiffany, for the reading before you bounce out.
You're welcome. I'm going again on Sunday. So, and somebody wanted me to do another show to talk about selfies. I'm very fascinated as to what I know about fairies and stuff.
Nice.
Speaking of
Ooh.
which, Tiffany, you've known me the longest out of everybody here. Do you think, given everything that's going on, do you think we should bring the Academy back?
That's up to you.
Well, that's why I'm asking you. I'm kind of the 4th time's a charm, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe 500, but
Right.
it's up to you. You would know.
I'll ask Eldon what he thinks.
Or I should put it this way: it's on your heart. It's up to you.
Whoa.
My heart says yes. My hamburger ass says no.
Well, just don't ask the pickle in the middle what it thinks.
I'm going to leave that one for Crimson Sonata.
Oh man. Well, Michael, it has been an honor to have you on my podcast, brother.
Yeah,
We've learned
and
a lot about you and a
I
lot of
gotta
history from you.
I gotta say, Brian, when I had to step out, my computer went into a blue screen that I had never seen, and it was buzzing. And I was
Sorry.
like, the only thing I could think was going through my head was somebody does not like me talking about this topic and was trying to get me out the
Oh,
topic.
dude.
That
This
actually very well
happened.
could be. We get interference depending on how deep we get. Like when we
Yeah.
get really deep, like off the edge and like under the iceberg, and everything starts to fritz. You know?
Yeah, because it was a weird message. It was like one I've never seen, and I've seen blue screens, and I have never had that happen on a thing where all of a suddenly it like starts buzzing and says system interrupted.
Do you have Windows 11?
And I might. I don't know. It self updates itself.
That's weird.
But Mr. Michael, I'm gonna probably get a hold of you within the next couple days, as I'm gonna whip something up, if you will, and talk to a couple of people.
He's gonna whip it out.
Shut up, Cass. God, I was getting there. But I'm gonna talk to a couple people and see what I can do about giving you a hand in the paranormal field,
All right.
and see if we can find you some places to investigate stuff like that. Can't go too much into detail, without giving plans away, but I'll talk to you about it later.
All right. Sounds good.
Birdcage
Cryptid
Theater would
thing.
be a good place to start.
The alien down there might understand what we're saying.
Oh,
Except
okay.
for the alien you're talking about is
The
on
pizza
that side
delivery
of the
man
screen.
right there.
What?
Yeah,
I'm innocent.
Diagonal.
Yeah. Except your diagonal's pointing towards me, not
Yeah,
him.
it's all backwards.
All right, hang on a second. Hang on. Okay,
There we go.
There we go. The
There
alien.
you go.
I love you too,
All
guys.
right. Well, Michael, I will definitely be getting a hold of you in the next couple days. And before we hop out of here, please tell us how to go watch your videos and how to get a hold of you, good sir.
You can
And you have a
find
book
my
or something? Tell us about it.
don't have a book yet, but I probably could with as many videos I have out. But I am trying to find. Isn't it always the way? Just when I'm trying to, I'm gonna get the channel. Well, let me give you this link. I can't find the other link that's more direct, but this will work. But my YouTube channel is Michael MICHEAL.coff. And you can probably find me there, or I sent the link. It's the link that YouTube uses to find me. I could possibly find my link through another way, but I'm on YouTube, and so you can look up. I have videos on past lives, the Mandela effect, UFOs, and paranormal investigations. So you can
We should
pretty
definitely
much
talk
find
more.
me.
Well, there you go, folks. You know how to get a hold of Michael. And Michael, I'll be talking to you soon, buddy.
All right. Looking forward to it.
All right. Good night, buddy.
Good night.
Tiffany, my dear Tiffany, thank you for coming on ShadowZone and showing us what you can do and sharing what you can do. We really appreciate it. And do me a favor on your show, would you? Tell that little voice from beyond you have that he better be leaving my wife's dreams alone. I heard her talking about him last night, and I don't appreciate that.
Oh,
Sorry,
you
it's
mean
just I love her so
Marilyn
much.
Monroe and Elvis Presley?
Oh yeah, yeah. He was poking fun at me and Tater. Yeah, you better tell him to watch his mouth, man. I might show up on Tiffany Tarot.
So he thought this was tattoos? I mean, he's painted like a fairy, but no, they're not tattoos.
And guys, if you want to check out Tiffany Reynolds on Tiffany's Tarot, check us out on YouTube under Parafam Studios. And she is live for 2 hours every Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Anything else you'd like to say before you go, darling?
Have a wonderful, happy Father's Day and blessed be.
Thank you.
$1 million.
Most definite blessed be, honey. Cassidy
Well, that was
Lightwing.
fun.
That was a great show to come back to, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And really, I had a really great visit with Char at the hospital. Come home, great show. It's been a good day.
Well, brother, before we get off of here,
You
give us
said
a
get
star
off.
update, please.
Char is against all medical possibility getting stronger. They really don't know what to make of it. Human biology does not work this way, so her doctors are pretty stumped. I am also pretty stumped, considering that even our technology can't handle the problem that she has. Which is essentially, for those of you who haven't seen, on a previous episode, the nerve impulses are not getting to the right side of her heart. So they're being sent. Everything's fine, but something in the right side of her heart is just not receiving the nerve impulses telling it to beat. Not even we can do a whole lot about that. If the nerves just won't receive the signal, they just won't receive the signal. So
Right.
this has been the first time in my life that I've been utterly helpless, and I don't like it. But she is getting stronger and stronger. Today we had a pizza party. She held my hand and we joked back and forth. She was even feeling good enough to bust my chops a little bit. So, yeah. There is no. I cannot express this enough. There is no medical explanation for why she's still drawing breath. Her heart, liver, and kidneys all went kaput. They all just failed. But that's part of the journey, but it's one of the reasons that my people are here, and one of the reasons why we're doing this is to show you guys you're not alone, and your fate will be ours. That's how much we believe in you as a species.
Hey, Cat,
What?
don't take this the wrong way, man. But I think the only reason that Shar is still alive is because of an amazing father like you.
I love you too, bro.
Your way with people, your way to figure things out, man, your strength. She draws off of that, man. And you've got so much of it, dog, you don't even know.
I was, yeah, well, let's sit here going, I don't feel the strong. I feel the weak.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, uh, Paulie says, I will pray for her.
Prayer really does work, folks. And throughout the duration of the channel, we'll be explaining the physics of why and how it works. Ricky Gervais, one of my favorite comedians, he has this standing joke that he'll pray for you or offer you $1 million. And his point of view is that anybody would take the $1 million. And no, we wouldn't. I would actually rather one heartfelt prayer than that'll do my daughter more good than $1 million. Money cannot save her, but faith can.
I hear it, man. I hear it.
People go, how could you be an alien if you believe in God? I got bad news for you guys. One of the things I want the audience and the species, basically everybody, like the whole world, to understand is that these fantastic technologies that you see from the ETs, for example, the star seeds, all of that technology accounts for bands of radiation that you have not discovered yet, which when your scientists do discover, you'll realize that is the divine radiation. It is a real thing. Our technology not only takes it into account, but uses it, you know? So when we say hope is coming, I really, really do mean it. You know, the world seems like it's falling apart right now, but there's so many good things happening. The media won't tell you. Carbon reclamation technologies, cleaning up the environment, medical technologies. The media wants you to be afraid. Okay. Most of all, the media wants you to be afraid of yourself. We want you to explore yourself. We want you to become stronger with your faith, stronger with your family. We want you to rise up as a species and take that crown that is your birthright. We call you Hominid sapiens Rex. Okay. That means you are the kings. You're the
Yeah,
kings of your own reality. You're the kings of your own fate. All you've got to do is reach out and take it.
dude, I can't be a T-Rex. Little arms, I can't touch myself. I don't want to be angry.
Yeah. I've got this great big head and these little bitty arms.
Didn't think this through.
Cass,
Yeah.
it is so great to have you back.
It's good to be back. I was a mess for a while. So
Yes, you were. And I
thank you
know
for being there for
people,
me.
he didn't get into drugs, he didn't get into alcohol. Tell him what happened, Cass.
Which part? It's been an
Uh,
ongoing saga.
let's start off at the part where you just damn near died a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah. Okay, so my body does not react very well to this biosphere. It doesn't look like it, but I'm actually very sickly. I'm actually taller than him, but I mean, look at these noodles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically, long story short, I was on a job for the Native Americans at Standing Rock. Now, if you don't know what Standing Rock is and why it's a big deal, I implore everyone, look up Standing Rock. Look up the way the Lakota stood their ground. Okay. So I was called in for a job. There was an all call, nasty spirit. Basically, the reason why I don't do investigations is because my team is the one you call when things go sideways. You know what I mean? And things went very, very sideways. This entity ripped my intestine open like it was tissue paper. It was not fun. And ever since then, I've been essentially fighting off organ necrosis and lots of badness. Well, a few weeks ago, it almost got the better of me. My body started to give in to the injury, and I went completely septic. More septic than what was that?
Sorry, calling the dog.
So yeah, they had to do an emergency surgery to remove gangrene from my abdomen. That was fun. And so all this is happening while Shar is in the hospital. Here's the adult hospital. The children's hospital is right next door. My daughter's right next door, and they're talking about pulling the plug. They're talking about shutting off her life support. You know what I mean? So that's how big of a turnaround it was. It's like we went from like they were literally one of the doctors was trying to advise us to turn off the VAD ventricular assist device in her sleep. Okay, that's how bad it was. And then here we are. So the lesson to take from that is that miracles are real.
Ladies and
really are.
gentlemen, for those of you who know me, and Cass can attest to this, I've never been one to believe in the power of prayer and miracles. But let me tell you what, this last month, that's all changed for me, man. With what you went through, what Shar went through, and is rehabilitating, I prayed for you guys on a daily,
Thank you. It
and
helped.
they were answered. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
I love you too, bro.
Now, for those of you who are gonna be curious about next week, I'm not telling you nothing about next week besides you're gonna see us once again. The Cass and Bubba show is back full time. the Yeti and alien, whatever you want to call us. We're back.
Yeah.
Ain't that right, Wonder Twin?
What is that song? The boys are back in town. Doo doo doo. I
Wow,
totally
that was
got the melody
way
wrong.
off. key.
I know. I couldn't. I was trying to remember it from Beverly Hills Cop. Hey,
It's
John.
supposed to go. The boys are back in town.
Yeah, the boys are back in town. Thank you. I forgot. I'm sorry.
All right, guys. Sherry, I know you're in the back along with Michael. I will be there in just a second, guys. For everybody else, have a hauntingly good night and a ghoulishly good day. Much love, y'all. See you next Sunday.